Hello everyone. I don't know why I was invisible for so long there, but welcome in, welcome in. Uh sorry, I was just for stream so I got Aw, Ashley. Happy Pride, Ashley. But mushroom, shut it.
Mushroom, shut it. Enough about the mushroom. We all know it's a mushroom. We get it.
Welcome in Allie and Mary and Ashley and Petite and Star. Welcome in everyone, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday so far. I have been assured by Petite that this game is stream friendly. It has a category, so I'm just gonna trust that it's okay to stream it. Good time I got back from the store not long ago. Mary, I post my schedule a week in advance. Like, you can't be surprised that I'm streaming at this time. It has been foretold. But quite wholesome. Okay, good. I can if my memory sucks. I was looking at the store page. My friend went 2-3 and 3-0 for the weekly Beastie Ball tourneys yesterday and today. Ooh. I really want to participate in those, but I have D&D on Saturdays, so it's kind of hard. But, yeah, I was looking at the store page earlier. There's like some kind of meta progression in this game, but apparently it's not in the demo, so that's a little bit disappointing, but we're gonna take a quick look at it anyway. I don't know, it was in the Steam Next Fest and piqued my interest, so, like, you know, it's the last one on the list I have that has been tested, but, that's not a testament to me not wanting to play it. It's just, I had other things I wanted to play more, I guess. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Is there a penny on the floor? Bobby, did you do that? Yeah, just that they're nibbling on your foot. That's like so typical of this cat. Let's get started. Poppy leaving out a gift for her Fae Overlord. Last night, she got up into my plushie collection and was like, I looked at them and I couldn't find any like claw marks or anything, but I'm still kind of worried that she might have messed one of them up. Doesn't explain why she's such an agent of chaos. Speaking of, actually, I finished a little shark plushie last night, actually. Why don't we go ahead and share this real quick? Why not? It was... I saved it. Dork. 2. Dork. I made a little plushie last night. Angels to go alone. Take this. I actually made it a little improvement after I took this picture. I sewed the hole in the tail up. It looks a lot more solid, and I'm very happy with it actually. Oh baby. You know what? I'm gonna bring that up real quick too. Hold on. Excuse me. Need to get it. Ba, ba, ba. Crop. Save. Work. Free. And here's what the tail looks like now. Oh, Ruby Raid! Ruby Raid! Oh no! Welcome in everyone from Ruby's stream. I was just showing off this thing I made last night. Just in time to see the short get raided, nerd. Thank you, Ruby. I really do appreciate it. Hold on. He brings over the chatting screen, so like there's music at least, but Ruby raid train from Ruby. Ooh, I am so honored to have received a raid train from Ruby. For those of you who are not, oh no, they're fighting. Oh no, they're fighting. Oh no, they're fighting. Get raided, nerd. Who wins? Who wins? What? Streaming Way 1? Oh, all these, so many follows. Thank you for the follow. I don't know exactly. Thank you for the follow.
Alan?
Oh my god.
Fetch Owie?
Ah! Why? Hold on. Why is... Oh, there. There, I can hide. Oh no, Wyoming, is it gone? Wow, okay, thank you, Ruby, for the raid, and all the people from Ruby's stream who followed. A quick rundown of, me. I am Beautiful Nova with an underscore. If you don't know who I am, I play a lot of, different things. I'm a variety streamer. On Sundays, I take a look at a demo, because, you know, indie devs need love too, and I found some absolute bangers doing this, such as Beastie Ball, which I've been completely obsessed with for the past 3 weeks. At the moment, I'm just showing off this cute little plushie I made last night, and I was about to show the fact that I fixed the tail. Here, I fixed the tail after I took these photos. So, I sewed that up. Subakuf gives it like it happens sometimes, Ruby, but it's totally deserved. The indie game I love myself and often give myself as gifts. Ooh! Please do tell, Astral. I would love to hear it. Cassette Beasts! Yes, Cassette Beasts! 100% Cassette Beasts. I love Cassette Beasts. Like... I was like... Cassette Beast is one of the ones I streamed before I even got into streaming. Like, it's so good. But, yeah, well deserved, Ruby. I'm gonna hide these shorks and, West Raid and run of. I gotta rest before my second stream with Tonight. Well, have a good eat, Ruby. I didn't get to my spiel, but, go rest well. Raiding and running is totally fine. I appreciate you dropping by with your community all the same. Speaking of, that's enough gushing about this shark, I guess. It's time to get into the actual demo. So, hold on, let me fix OBS. Orc.
It begins. It senses.
Oh
It
god.
remembers. All that came before. Taste and smell.
Oh god, we got
Bold
Toadfink.
inventions. Glimmers in the soil. Burning sparks. Molded forms. Simple tools. A world unbroken. The cinder unfolding. The carved mountains. The rolling hills. It calls to you. Return again.
What's that from, sir? Also, yeah, I think I got, Cassette Beasts. I believe I got it in, like, July of 2023, and, I played it for a while. I streamed it just for Star a couple times before I began last January, and it was one of the first games that oh, that's from Vintage Story. Yeah. I've been wanting to get into Vintage Story, but you already knew that, Star. Wait, I heard Cassette Beasts. Yes, we were talking about Cassette Beasts. It was one of the first games I streamed last year. Oh. Thank you for the follow, Dakabi, and everyone else that I missed. Thank you for the follow as well. But we're gonna get into the demo now. Today, I'm taking a look at a game called Mushroom Musume, which, like, it reminds me of those old, like, princess raising games. Like, if you ever played Project Princess on, like, Newgrounds or Congregate, I think it's like that. There was some older ones that I think that was based on, but they were kind of iffy. Soundtrack got me especially for the game. I, yes, the soundtrack of Cassette Beasts is phenomenal, and like, Up for the Ride was the perfect continuation. If you do like offbeat creature collectors and an amazing soundtrack, I definitely recommend taking a look at Beastie Ball. It has a free demo. You can transfer your game save from the demo to the full game. Just it is completely worth at least a look. That's what I'll say. But this is supposed to be about Mushroom Musume, so let me get into that. All right, Mushroom Musume demo. Hi, Gorump. How are you doing? You, you get me like gushing all day about Happy Pride, Kai. All right, so this is Mushroom Musume. It looks like. People were rich. Guns. Oh, okay. Hold on. I gotta fix this again. Ah. There we go. That works. All right. Start. Doing all right. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. I mean, I just like this was hold on. Poppy, move. Was sharing an India liked. I didn't expect such a reaction from you. Usually when I say cassette piece, people go, "What?" Yeah, cassette piece is one of my all-time favorites, Astral. Like, I'm not joking. It is like top 5 at least for me. So, still a little unknown. That honestly kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It's such a good game, and I've spent a lot of time theory crafting, and I actually have like it getting the Binding of Isaac withdrawals. I'll be briefing for 10 minutes. Yeah, it's one of the ones that you can like. I have a redeem. You can challenge me to a game, and it is one of the ones on the list that like you can just challenge me to a cassette piece battle anytime. Anyway, into Mushroom Musume finally. Give me a second. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. Though they had no need for society, they did often find themselves home to a loneliness that they could never quite shake. In the morning, the sun would rise. At night, it would set. The recluse would observe this splendor, knowing that the sight would be made all the more beautiful by having someone to share it with. It wasn't that they desired a relationship. Perhaps it was a flame that had burned them one too many times. Or perhaps they were simply disinterested. No, a child. That's what they wanted. Someone to take care of, to teach. Unfortunately, it was a longing that could not be found. Not in these woods. Alone. However, we are never quite as alone as we think, are we? One day a witch appeared, as if drawn by the intensity of the recluse's desire. The lumber that the recluse had spent the morning gathering slipped through their hands as they spotted her, the witch of the woods. He began to speak. You desire a child, yes? For some, those are quite easy to come by, but not you, it would seem. Let us make a deal, then. If you go do these 3 simple chores for me, I will present you with a daughter of your very own. The recluse, caught up in a moment of naivety, quickly agreed. The still has some people streaming it every day, but it's one I feel is unassuming at first glance. But there's a lot more heart and soul within that box when you might expect from the outside. If I had the points, even if I suck ass, I would have played Yu-Gi-Oh! You still with it. Oh, I do appreciate the lyric, Drisk. Have a good one. A nice 1v1 doesn't hurt if it wasn't port. Oh, I play on Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, Gorump. But yes, Astral. I would say like a lot of the same things about Beastie Ball. There's so much heart and soul put into it, and the combat is just so imaginative. Like all the things I've loved about Cassette Beasts, I also love about Beastie Ball. So I definitely give that one a look if you're interested. But anyway. The witch, knowing that the recluse was destined to accept, simply nodded and began to deliver the first of these so-called chores without hesitation. Your child will come into this world with little to her name. Let us even the scales. Hi, Phoebe. I mean, we were just now getting to the mushrooms. I was gushing about Beastie Ball and Cassette Beasts earlier because I'm and also Ruby rated, so I had to. But how are you doing this Sunday? Streaming Way just beat up Fink. It's true. I can't believe Streaming Way just showed up and beat up Fink. Poppy, what are you doing? This cat, I swear. Oh, I was also showing off the shork. Hold on. I need to show this real quick. I fixed the tail last night. Just to make sure you see it. Go. Back to stream. Let's see. Your child will come into this world with little to her name. Let us even the scales. Bring me an heirloom, something she will forever value. The recluse thought on it briefly, searching through their home for the object they had pictured. An old bottle of medicine that is sat unopened, a dark, weathered tome, or a hairbow from your previous daughter blackened with age. Huh. Right, so, this is like, semi-randomized, like, if you've played, what's it called? Was it something Kingdom? I think it's just, no. Hold on. I forget it. It's like, you make choices with, like, randomized cards. Which heirloom should we give? I'm gonna go with the dark weathered tome, I think. Once it had been said to the recluse that knowledge is power, they weren't sure about that. Books often contained fanciful things that the recluse never got much use out of, but perhaps they would be more useful to their daughter. Bringing their prize back to the witch, she simply gave a smile. How perfect. After their brief detour to meet with the witch, the recluse resumed their normal day-to-day schedule. The second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, which even if they had found themselves caught up with the witch. They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do, which is to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more and I can finally give you what you want. She paused for only a moment before delivering her next message of import. There have been some activities I've been meaning to get to. Perhaps you could make yourself useful and cross one off the list for me. Not realizing that they were simply saving the witch some time, the recluse determined which task they were most suited for. Organize a surprisingly understated collection of keepsakes. Restock a selection of unsettling components. Prepare the witch a comforting meal. I'm gonna go with this one. Cooking was a simple affair, much kinder seeming than the rest. It was an easy decision for the recluse. What do witches like to eat? The recluse wondered this question, figuring that one could not go wrong with a simple meal of eggs and bacon. Arriving back to their meeting point, the recluse was excited to report their progress to the witch. Ah, very good. How kind of you. After quickly wiping themselves down, the recluse returned to their hut for the remainder of the night. The third day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, then that meant that this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least. That was all they could do. See. I guess final thing I'll say for Cassette Beasts, it was the first time I had bought a soundtrack for a game I have on Steam to listen to. I think, yeah, I have the soundtrack too. I actually have the soundtrack on an actual cassette tape. Like, it doesn't have Up for the Ride on it, unfortunately. It came out before that, but it's a glitter bootleg cassette tape with the full, at the time, soundtrack on it, and I am very, very happy with it. Like, I love the game so much. Yeah, I bought the physical copy. I felt like I had to support the devs, you know? And, I'm still gonna say, go, like, I don't know, everyone else should try Cassette Beast, but also, I need to reiterate, Beastie Ball, I think will be right up your alley if you like Cassette Beasts. That's all I'll say. Like, I'm done. I'm done gushing about this. Yeah, barely remembering to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. What? Oh my god. Thank you for the follow, Astral. That was Astral. Thank you for the follow. Glad you decided to stick around. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful, something bright, that you think will suit her. When they were first told of the 3 tasks, the recluse had imagined things that were much more difficult. This seemed so easy as to be a trick, which, they supposed, only meant they should take it seriously, as if a mistake could mean death. With death in mind, the recluse needed to decide where to search for color. field of flowers, a stony river. Oh, I didn't mean to select this one, but that's fine. Though underwater wasn't the first place most people thought of for color, the recluse understood there were many shades that people failed to consider. They arrived at a nearby river, glancing into the glossy water to spy a variety of small, shining stones. Garnet, lost maroon heralds of bygone storms. Jasper, nature's deep brown canvas. Turquoise, prized symbols of luck and fortune. Marble, the pale proprietor of possibility. Or slate, a simple yet sturdy gray stone. Bygone storms, I think? Either turquoise or marble? I'm gonna go with turquoise. The vivid hue of the vivid hue of a chunk of turquoise caught the recluse's eye, beckoning their hand. The stone presented itself like the sky, like the waters, like a purity rarely seen. Stone in hand, they returned to the witch, captivated by nature's beauty. The recluse returned to the witch's hut, colored item in hand. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. Oh ho ho! You want your promised daughter, don't you? Her voice was almost mocking, but at least it was not overtly cruel. I suppose I must tell you that I lied, human. I do require several more trifling things from you. First is the matter of payment. The recluse should have known that everything is for a cost. Pay me now with wealth, pay me now with life, pay me sometime soon in larger quantities, or pay me at a much later date in the way I choose. They offered their coin purse to the witch, and she took it wordlessly. After pocketing the whole pouch, she returned a single coin to the recluse's hand. This will be sufficient, the witch smiles. With the payment settled, the witch simply smiled and handed the recluse a small pot. Humans are tricky, but mushrooms are much more resilient. Consider this an upgrade. Don't worry, eventually she will develop a mind. Simply give her time, as much as she needs. Soon your wish will be in full bloom. I suppose, with all that settled though, there is one last thing for you to consider. A young girl needs a proper name. The recluse thought on the witch's demand before offering the final thing they had to give. Dude. Welcome in, Very. Welcome to the Rodent Den. I hope you enjoy your stay. Yeah, thank you, actually. Maze worked really hard on it, and I'm very happy with it. Need a name, though, and I'm terrible at names. Mycelia? Oh, that's has a cooldown, but that is fair. Got it the very first time. Also can be spelled very. Vieri? Yeah, somebody, like, I did, No Mercy in Undertale recently, and someone, like, there was two people just spamming it constantly. V, then Airy. Oh! Welcome in. I mean, I could probably loosen that restriction now. Actually, I'll go ahead and do that real quick. It's gay all year round, son! And the minute is fine. I think I might be able to do like a shorter cooldown. I'm not sure. And I'll do it later. I like Mycelia though. Let's do it. Then she walked away. Only fate knowing if the two should ever meet again. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Care for the pot, and the dirt, and everything that lay within. It's all good, very, right? I'll admit, if I didn't have to go through the Redeem UI, I'd spam it as fast as possible for like 5 seconds. Wait, also... Yeah, happy prides, Mary. So the recluse geared up, as any parent should, and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances, in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide. Nutrients for the child to help it grow strong. They would need plenty, as it would be depleted on a daily basis. And finally, the recluse's own stamina could not be ignored. One cannot burn the candle from both ends indefinitely. Thus began the longest growing season of the recluse's life. They geared up as they threw on armor, grabbed a sword, shield, and some potions. Our finances are in the toilet because we gave it all to the witch, but that's what I figured was gonna happen. I guess pay now in life would also would take your stamina probably, but to give you the various options, vary v airy. I see. Well, welcome in all the same, Barry. The day has gotten away from you already. The sun's gentle descent is being swallowed behind the forest's reach. This is Mushroom Musume. It's a game coming out, it's said, pretty soon. I'm just playing the demo right now. It looks like it's one of those, like, Mushroom-a. It looks like it's kind of like those old princess raising simulators, but instead of, like, just a regular human, it's a mushroom. And, we still haven't gotten the mushroom yet. Monster Mushroom-a. See, the day's gotten away from you already. The sun's gentle descent is being swallowed behind the forest's reach. You weren't able to finish everything you set out for today, but you only have time for one more chore. Purchase new construction materials for your hut. You've already worked hard enough. Retire to the tavern. Finish a favor the village's leader asked of you, or barter for some fine substrates to better grow your daughter. The mushroom is right there. Well, I have the mushroom, it's just not a daughter yet. I think we need to build up our finances a little bit. Doing favors for the leader is comfortable for you. It allows you flexibility while still giving you some funds. Today is no different than usual. You herd some cats for the leader, and in exchange they pay you. How novel. Your tasks behind you, you and your daughter return home. Each do a nice bath and a simple dinner. A flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they've become quite the nuisance. Fetch your bow and hunt the birds. Purchase some poison and forcibly evict the foul sky rats. Ignore the birds. This feels like it's like the mean one, or like it's not gonna go well. That'll take finances. This would take stamina, I think. I think this would take nutrients. Let's try this. You retrieve your bow and are lucky to leave with not one but two birds from the flock. They shouldn't show up again for a while. You and your daughter may rest. Nothing more could be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. Huh? Something's happening. Your daughter has changed in the night. She's got a face. One day you awaken suddenly, discovering that your mushroom has gained enough limbs to propel themselves around the house. The creature toddles on uneasy legs, bumping into objects noisily, and a cute face now shows a vacant expression. Her demeanor seems pensive and unsure, sometimes staring long at unfamiliar objects. Encourage her thoughtfulness, spend time nurturing her environment, motivate her to do something more productive. Encourage her thoughtfulness. Your daughter's development is going better than expected, and you want to promote her inquisitive nature. You gather a collection of unusual things from around your house for her to look at, such as nooks, antiques, and broken tools. She continues to observe the things you bring her for long hours, seemingly finding some enrichment in the activity. Yay! The decision being made, life continues. Aww. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door. Quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Wood standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Can she be here for a visit, or to settle a debt? Introduce her to your daughter, privately request a stipend. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. You could maybe even learn a thing or two. The two of you answer the door and invite the gloomy woman inside for dry and awkward small talk. Something about the way the two absently stare at each other. You wonder if they've made some sort of connection today. The decision being made and life continued. You realize that buried in your new goal, you've forgotten to feed yourself, or procure any human food, really. What seems the most nutritious option? To the woods, for foraging. Sneak morsels away from your charge. To the village. Their market has many enticing goods. This will cost stamina, and I don't have enough stamina. Nutrients are... I don't want to take away from the daughter, so we're going to buy some food. There are things that you cannot possibly find or make on your own, and sometimes you desire them. Rarely do you indulge, but today is different. Strolling into the market, you find a booth with a particularly interesting food that you've never had before. A strange soup that's thick, hearty, and incredibly spicy. You purchase more than you can eat, and decide to give your child the scraps. They seem to invigorate her. Huh? Something's happening. Aww, look at that. It's so cute. Your daughter has changed in the night. Look at her. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After an hour of searching the nearby area, you find her sitting alone in a familiar clearing. To your surprise, the creature now had taken the form of a young girl. You feel relieved to confirm the witch hadn't betrayed you. At your approach, she turns and smiles at you, before continuing to thoughtfully stare into space. Sit with her in silence, buy her a nice gift to celebrate. Tell her it's time to go home. Happy Pride, Barry. Did I get her a gift or just sit with her? These are the two I want to do. I don't know what that quote is from. Oh, it's from a YouTube poop, but I just use it because I wanted to keep the redeem past June. You know what? I'm gonna sit with her in silence. You do wonder what your daughter is thinking about so intently, but decide not to disturb her. Taking a seat next to her, you appreciate the beauty of the forest and spend time thinking lovingly of your daughter. After nearly an hour, she stands up and heads back home, seemingly finished with her introspection. While sitting at home one day, you hear an unexpected knock at the door. What's in this almanac, by the way? Nothing yet, I guess. Unfortunately, when you go to answer, you find yourself face to face with a man that you never wished to see again. Though he was older now, the scar running down his cheek was unmistakable. It took me a while to find you this time, recluse. The sound of his voice sends a long-forgotten chill down your spine. This man is your former business partner. A time when you did work that was less than admirable. I'm sure all this time alone has given you plenty of time to reflect. Are you finally ready to get back to business? Give the man a significant sum of money to go away. Beg the man to leave you alone. Agree to do business with the man. Kill the man! Oh, man! Oh! What do I do here? It seems like... Well, I think, he's our former business partner. I think we might have been, like, some kind of criminal or, like, mercenary before we came to the woods. We did have a bow, and, we, like, killed some birds with it. Agree to do business with a man. I'm not doing that. I don't want to kill him either, so it's between begging him and paying him. Biznatch. Ooh, what's that emote? That looks... Creature. I love it. You think 5 finances is enough to get him to leave us alone? Info. Ooh, Mycelia. Aw, look at her. Environment. Excellent in quantity. Affection. Aw. Experience 4 finances, 5 stamina, 2. Mystic bond. You have developed some rapport with your creator, the Witch of the Woods. Child? What a rocky introduction. Your daughter is as civil as any human child now. Bookworm. Thankfully, you've been taught to read. Whimsical and personable. Aww. We're doing a pretty good job so far, I think. A turquoise mushroom. Daughter's growth is fickle. To ensure higher quality, you need to grow her in the best condition. She is your daughter after all, even if she doesn't always look like much of one. If your daughter is well loved, she'll be able to improve at things more quickly. Aww. You avoid the village where you can, but with a daughter you have new needs. Money allows you to buy things that you couldn't gather yourself. She needs food, but her food isn't quite the same as yours. Ensure that she never goes hungry. Only so many hours in the day, and you only have so much time and energy. Alright, I guess I'll pay him off. You've known this man long enough to understand what he truly desires. Money. Perhaps if you offered him some, he would agree to leave you alone. When you explain this line of thought out loud, his eyes sparkle. You've always known me so well. You quickly gather an amount of gold that you hope will satisfy him in a pouch, and then place the pouch in his hand. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. As he leaves, you tell him to never return. You've been irresponsible with your funds. One more necessary expense and you won't have enough food to survive. You loathe to interact with the others, but you may have to find some work in town. You'd rather die poor than get a job, and you just might. Suck it up and get to work. You swallow your pride and head to the village to do manual labor. It's demeaning work, but the fruits of your labor will ensure you and your daughter will survive another day. An end? One night, you find yourself struggling to sleep. Your mind wanders as you consider your current place in life. You've lived peacefully with your daughter for many moons. Initially, it was strange. Well, it never stopped being strange, but you were always thankful for the company. Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward their child. That was normal, at least. Your thoughts turned to the concept of time, particularly how you were once alone, and how you are afraid that you will be again someday. Your daughter has had more and more curiosities about the outside world. It's only a matter of time before she wants to strike her own path. You hope you will be fulfilled now. Hope you've done enough. Ultimately, you find comfort in what you've done. You may have had many failures in your life, but there's one thing you know you can die proud of. Slime form incompetent, and a new beginning. Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world wasn't an easy conversation. As they grew older, you worried about leaving them on their own. Thankfully, your concerns were unwarranted. They were happy that you had grown enough to want to move out. They even offered to help you build your own home, close to theirs. You were welcome to visit any time, obviously. Faster than you would have anticipated, the two of you built your home together. They showed you all the tricks they knew and made sure to impart as much knowledge as they possibly could. Finally, the day arrived. You were officially on your own. You were scared, a little, but also excited. It felt like a new chapter was just beginning for you. Loving parent, aww. A girl on her own. Common turquoise, Pixie's parasol. Info? Slime form. Your body is made of something slick and magical. You can feel it in your core. Incompetent! You're unfortunately just not very good at much of anything. Let's see, humanity. Increased by thorough socialization or by doing the right thing. The status how good of a person you are. Potency. Increased by a titillating meal or by titillating danger. The status tied to the strength of her mushroom type or her ability to perform in stressful situations. A good a person she is, literally and metaphorically. Robustness. Increased by the ideal growing conditions or by a loving presence. This stat is associated with her physical strength, but could also be a strength of character. Dampness. Increased by a good soak or by a melancholic moment. This stat indicates how wet and slimy her body is, but also a murkiness of the soul. Mycelium. Increased by the right nutrients or by things that nourish the soul. This stat is associated with how generally healthy she is, and yet it could also be a persistent optimism. Mystic bond. You have developed some rapport with your creator, the Witch of the Woods. Loving parent. The recluse will always live in your heart, and for the time being, next door. Bookworm. Thankfully, you've been taught to read. An adult. You have grown into a young woman unexpectedly. Relative obscurity. People don't think much about you. Nope. Don't like an event. Use one of these cards and you can go back You can be on your way back home in no time. Wealth. Room qualities. Okay, the sun is low in the sky, casting a beautiful warm tint across everything that you saw. Today it was a particularly beautiful sight. Blossoming fruit trees and the wind blowing through grass. Your eyes feel heavy, and suddenly you find yourself falling into a deep sleep. In your dreams, you're sitting on a tree branch. There's a flute playing somewhere. Then, suddenly, the flute is next to you. Attached to it is the vague shape of a woman. I haven't seen you around here before. Welcome. Whenever you go to look at her, it feels like she shifts. Can't quite describe her. You probably won't remember me when you wake up, but it's nice to meet you. After sitting in silence for a second, she starts playing again. Where do you go when I'm awake? Sing along. Try to memorize this place. Lie. Sing along or memorize this place. I like sing along, but let's try to memorize this place. Let's see if I can find her later. Try your best to focus. Hard to take in the details, but you attempt to commit them to memory. You figure that if you remember it well, maybe you could come back. It seems like a lovely enough place to visit from time to time. By the time you awake, you can remember it vividly, even the strange woman next to you. That's a memory for another time, though. It's dark, and you should be getting home. We did it! One day, in need of supplies, you head to the local apothecary. It's always a wonderfully cozy experience inside. You have a particular fondness for a painting hung up near the counter of a mushroom woman much like yourself, with a frog in her lap. Not to mention the vast amounts of ingredients and goodies all readily available to you. Business beats the nitty-gritty of foraging every time. Unfortunately, this time around, you feel a set of eyes staring at you. Wait, what? Absurdly presumptuous. Aw, well... Thank you for the follow, Very. I'm glad you liked what you saw and decided to stick around. I don't know about presumptuous, but I'm glad to have you all the same. Unfortunately, this time around, you feel a set of eyes staring at you.
Nova has passed the vibe check.
Thank you, Fink. Yep, looks good. You turn your neck and barely catch a glance at a strange man following you. He's wearing a look as ravenous and tattered as his wizard's hat. Tell the man off. You're not just some component after all. Run back home as quickly as you can. I'd at least stick around an hour or two, but you have a great vibe and I do not think you might turn out to be a serial killer. Yeah, don't watch my Undertale streams. But I'm glad thank you for the follow, Very, and I guess I'll see you around. Oh no. I mean the first one was fine. That's the canon one. That's what I'm going with. But don't worry, it'll all be fine. Time loops and whatnot. Yeah, I appreciate lurkers all the same. Which one of these is strength? Robustness is physical strength. Potency is strength of mushroom type. Ability to perform in stressful situations. If humanity is pretty high, that might have an effect. Yeah, I guess let's try that. You angrily turn on your heel and yell at him, I am a person, you know! Yay, we pass! Sounds like a potency check, though. My robustness went up. You can see him visibly pale, taking a handkerchief out of his pocket and wiping the sweat from his brow as he chokes out an apology. Mountains bordering the northern reaches of the forest call to you. Destroyed by facts and logic. You see them every day on your adventures, and there is an overwhelming desire to climb them that simply can't be ignored. Readying yourself in the early hours of the morning, you glance over the materials you have on hand. Pack light, pack heavy. Don't pack, in fact, don't pack. In fact, just don't go. This is robustness, this is dampness. I have better robustness. Still incompetent. Guess pack heavy? Stuffed to the brim, your pack makes it somewhat difficult to move. So difficult that your legs buckle under your first step and you fall over. With your pack all set, you make your way out to the mountain. After a couple hours of climbing, you feel like you've made some decent progress, though you're starting to feel a bit tired. Just as you think it's time for a break, you come across a beautiful mountain spring, complete with its own waterfall. Take a relaxing shower. Train your endurance. Take a relaxing shower. The waterfall's frigid embrace leaves your skin numb and joints stiff. You take a moment to rest in the sun to warm yourself, but end up falling asleep. Not sweaty anymore. Wake up in the mountain forest that night. Spend the night. The dark can't stop you. Continue climbing. The moon is full, and you decide that you feel fully rested after your little nap. In the moonlight, you carefully make your way up the path. The faint glow of the moon grants everything a pallid shine. So you realize something. Some of the light is not coming from the sky. Glancing at the base of a tree, you spot small plants glowing happily in the night. Enjoy the light for a moment. Eat one! Enjoy the moment. You decide to simply appreciate the moment. It is not often you see a plant so bright. Small luminescent ferns seem to dance in the wind. You find yourself reminded of magic and other fanciful things. Finally, you decide it's time to finish your hike. After your rest, you continue up the trail to the mountain's peak. The air thins and trees become sparse. You have reached the top. You can see the whole region from up here. Myriad hamlets, roadways winding between them, and beautiful mountain ranges. But one peak in particular stands out to you, the only mountain in the region taller than the one under your feet. Far to the east, beyond the village, across from the old ruins, the great mountain calls to you. A burning urge wells up inside you. Maybe someday you'll conquer that one as well. Have lunch, sit in silence, watch the town from above. Oh no, my humanity isn't funny anymore. The townsfolk look like tiny dots from this distance. Spend some time watching their daily life pass by. Your time at the top of the mountain has come to an end. When you arrive home, you sprawl out onto your bed, exhausted from your adventure. You feel a crisp breeze, the heat is relenting, trees are changing in color. Fall has arrived. While tending to your home, you begin to feel an otherworldly pull towards the forest. You can't resist. Moments later, you find yourself surrounded by trees and standing in front of a mushroom-covered hut. Deep within you, you know the witch that made you resides here. Force yourself to turn tail around and quickly head home. Enter the hut with the hope of learning some magic. Enter the hut cautiously and her as a stranger. The humanity check. You enter, acting respectful but not overly familiar, and find the witch waiting for you. She treats you like a patient, or maybe like some project. She asks questions about your health, your impact on the locals. After she is done, she sends you on your way. One day, without realizing it, you had stayed in the village much later than intended. The sun has fully set, and the darkness has enveloped all. Thankfully, you are fully capable of taking care of yourself. You know this settlement well, and lack of sun does not change that. You decide to take a shortcut through an alley, but to your surprise, there are others there as well. Quite a few others, in fact. It quickly becomes apparent that that most of the alley's denizens are going into a single door. One that, when open, you can hear the faint sounds of revelry and triumph through. When they go to leave, many have small trinkets and seem tired from a long night of cheering. Enter the door. Heal from one of these easy marks, or mind your own business. Let's do it. Let's go see what's going on. After we go in gambling? After a while of spying, you get the impression that people are free to enter. Your people, basically, so you figure it's safe to investigate further. As you step inside, the roar of the crowd grows in volume and clarity. It takes your eyes a second to adjust to the dim light. You move past a few tables full of merchant goods into a large room full of people. The center of it is an arena, topped with a fighting ring. The ring is currently in use, as two combatants circle each other. One fighter is a man in a crude grasshopper mask, constructed of dyed linen and leaves. He moves with a quick staggered step, often feinting at his opponent. His opponent, a tall figure largely obscured by a dark cloak, counters nimbly, keeping low. You watch as the grasshopper man grabs the cloak, using it to pull his opponent around the ring. Holy fucking shit, wrestling! Find yourself drawn towards the crowd. The mood of the fight is simply intoxicating. Before you know it, you're whooping and hollering with the rest. Lucha Libre. If we get a Dwayne Johnson reference here after the Mario movie night, I'm gonna have an egg. Finally, in a thrilling conclusion, the caped fighter manages to subdue the crude grasshopper. They triumphantly suplex the masked man to the joy of the crowd. Though initially slightly concerned for the man's health, you find that both fighters have support immediately afterwards. Slowly, the crowd begins to dissipate. What a thrilling event! You go to leave, a chubby woman wearing an elaborately decorated pair of glasses stops you. I've never seen anyone quite like you before, love. If you ever want to fight, come back here anytime. I think that we could help you be something spectacular. You accept a scrap of paper the woman hands you. On it lists her name and where to find her. My mycelium and potency went up. After giving her a quick farewell, you dash back home with much to consider. You awake one night to the light of a full moon and the eerie sound of singing. Mycelium is overall health and optimism, okay? As if your body isn't your own, the cool night air is drawn over your flesh upon leaving the house. And just outside you see a group of tiny fairies are dancing and singing inside a ring of sprouted mushrooms. One of them spots you watching and motions you closer. Go back to bed. Nope, go forward and play with the fairies. Try and capture some of them. I'm gonna play with the fairies. My humanity is so high, I can pass on basically anything. As you approach, the fairies begin to dance around you. Some sing, and others tug at your wrist. You feel compelled to follow them. But as enchanting as it is, you begin to notice your home growing ever further away. Some fairies have grown shifty, giggling conspicuously. It's obviously a trap. But before the tricksters can get the better of you, you turn and run back home. The sounds of bickering fairies behind you. My dampness and I think robustness. Thankfully, you're able to get home safely. A little too magical of an adventure behind you. A chilling breeze greets you, heralding the approach of winter. The end of the year approaches, and you find yourself considering your aspirations. You want to accomplish something significant. Decide you'll remember. Take on a dangerous quest, or spend a charming evening at the gala. Pursue a great aspiration. Decide not to pursue anything. Attend a charming evening at the gala. Recently, you've garnered enough attention in the area to be invited to a high-class event. I have? Or invitation? Relative obscurity. To be invited to a high-class event. Could be an opportunity to celebrate the year, or invite someone you wish to grow closer with. Attend the gala alone. Invite the girl of your dreams. Invite the person who raised you. Actually, don't go to the gala. I'm gonna invite the girl of my dreams. Consider a strange dream you once had. A woman was there, you think. For some reason, you set your mind on finding her. No one else you'd rather attend with anyway. The gala isn't until the end of the year. You'll have plenty of time to prepare yourself. While aimlessly wandering one day, you decide that the best use of your time would be to do some scouting. It's always useful to expand your mental map of the area. The country near your home is lush, with many diverse landscapes to be found. You decide to head to the north, toward a particularly damp, dense forest that's home to a variety of useful plants. As a child, this was where you knew to get medicine plants from, but there was danger there as well. Step into the forest, feeling a humid breeze on your fungal cheek. There's an omnipresent buzz of insects pervading the air. This section of forest feels much different than where you live. You find that it's hard to feel at peace. Despite this, the flora and fauna is resplendent. You find yourself looking from plant to plant. Finally, you see something quite interesting. A beautiful large pink flower stands tall in the nearby clearing. Petals are twisted, forming a large sparkling bud that is larger than your head. Hi, Phoebe! Welcome in, how are you doing? The single flower is the distinction of the plant, but you observe that its stalk is robust and strangely segmented. It feels a bit like a monolith. For a moment, you simply stand and stare at it. Something about this strange plant leaves you with a feeling of awe. You suspect that you may be able to sell this flower in the market for quite a pretty penny, or perhaps keep its splendor for yourself. Pick the flower. Let's pick it. In time, if left alone, the flower will eventually die here. If you think about it, there's really no harm in taking it from the woods. Without spending too long in thought, you walk up to the plant and grab the flower by the stem. When you do so, the flower opens its eye. This, understandably, gives you quite a shock. You leap back, seeing the flower unfold in front of your own eyes. It takes you a moment of processing to understand, but finally, you make the connection. This is not a plant at all. It is a beast! Its eye is large, still haloed by the petals that had initially attracted you. To be frank, it's hard to entirely understand the shape of it in the commotion. You do understand that it has a hefty central mass, mossy green and camouflaged with stems and stalks. You also come to understand that this body itself is not a solid form, as it splits horizontally down the middle. Inside is an array of sharp and uneven white stones. In another second, you understand the two. The Winter Secret Histories, Phoebe. Nice to meet. Before it could make itself even more known to you, you figured it was time to do something. Try to fight! Flee! My potency is higher. Like, barely. Simply put, there was absolutely nothing worth sticking around this situation for. Decided it was best to make a plant monster and leave. Oh no, we failed! As you start to flee, you realize that these woods are different than those near your home. Plants grow in strange ways that affect your normal woods running strategies. You can hear the creature rustling loudly behind you. Finally, you find your feet. You leap triumphantly over a small creek, only to fumble your landing on the other side. Oops, I can save. Audrey 2 is about to fucking rip you apart. You stumble on the rocky terrain, then trip. As you fall, you notice something that makes your body feel like it was submerged in ice water. On the other side of the creek is a small, hidden chasm. Beneath you is inky darkness as far as the eye can see. Before you are entirely submerged in the abyss, you had to grab onto some roots, but just barely. My only option is pull myself up. Hello, thank you for streaming the game. Oh, there's other devs? I'm sorry. You were the only one I could find. But welcome in, Zawazi. I think that's what your name was. Yeah, we're taking a quick look for demo day. How are you doing, by the way? Pull yourself up. I failed again? Oh, come on. Also, I can't believe I got another dev in chat. As you go to find something, anything else to grab onto, your hold gives away. You scratch at the sides of the chasm to no avail. Eating some munch, having a pleasant Sunday. Nice. Oh no, we're falling! When you finally land, it's not a comfort. The impact isn't painful, but there's something worse about it. The area surrounding you is dark and cramped. You find that there's not even enough room to stand. You feel around in an attempt to find somewhere you could go, but you're unable to find anything at all. All you can feel around you is dirt and rock. You are utterly trapped. You try to scream for attention, but the realization dawns on you that not only are you far in the middle of the woods, but you are also deep underground. Over time, you begin to worry that no one will ever find you. You have all the nutrients you need to stay alive, but unfortunately that's all you're doing. You can't help but wonder, if your body was just a little more adept at utilizing its mycelium, would you be able to find a strength in the soil you are currently unable to? Unfortunately for you, you'll probably never know. Time passes slowly, and you have no choice but to just keep waiting. Oh no! I can't believe it! Waiting patiently. You fell into a hole and will be waiting there for some time. We couldn't find the girl of our dreams! No! F, you got a bad end. This is supposed to be wholesome? It's like that's like unironic nightmare fuel right there. When did the full release to come out a month or so ago, but really smacked us with the other. Yeah, I noticed that trailer said fourth quarter of 2024, but I'm patient. Congratulations on finishing your first run of Mushroom Musume. You've discovered one of over 30 endings available in the demo version of the game. We encourage you to experiment a little while growing your next starter to see how different she can turn out. Be sure to check out your almanac if you want to track your progress. Got plenty in this demo to keep you busy farming for a while, but I thought I'd also tell you a bit about what awaits players in the full game. We're excited to be working on a new system of minigames for you to play between sessions. For each grown daughter earns you spores, which can then be used to purchase mushroomy gardening supplies. That's the part that I was most excited about, honestly. Yeah, I'm probably... This is definitely on my list. I might return to it like a full series at some point. What you grow in your garden can help shape future daughters, allowing players a little more control over her outcome, or even eventually allowing you to jump right into the third act. Not in the gardening mood? Then your hard-earned spores can instead be gambled away in exchange for rare goodies. How mysterious. Don't you want to know what you'll get? We're also hard at work writing. The full game will have double the word count and double the amount of story content, including an expanded overarching plot. Delve into a dungeon found a town bustling with fungal life, or maybe even destroy the Witch of the Woods for good if you want. Not to mention never before seen Mushroom Girls, a cavalcade of new music, even some unique collectibles that are something else entirely. We're aiming to release the full game in the first part of 2025. Wishlist us on Steam. Keep up the newest news. Plus, it helps us out a lot. Yes, we're going to be buffing the core gameplay loop. Players won't be able to transfer their progress from the demo version. You'll get a little bonus in exchange, at least. Just thought you'd like to know. Thanks for playing. Well, dang. I guess we basically just died. I got a bounce. Found out the stream while doing. Well, thank you for dropping by, Zawazi. Thank you for the game, I guess. Are there other devs on Blue Sky? I could give them a shout out too, real quick. Happy. First, you got stuck in a place with just enough nutrients to keep you alive, but with no way to get out or do literally anything else but remain alive. Bad end, but an ending nonetheless. If you're curious, try Pride in the password screen. Password screen? Hold on. Chroma collection, overwrite game color, high contrast. Oh, daughter's grown. Average dampness. Aw, poor Mycelia. Waiting patiently. Orderly Moonstar Games is the studio of the two main devs. Automnopedia is lead dev on Blue Sky, and the other main dev isn't on Blue Sky. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna add that as a comment real quick. My mistake. At quarterly. Autumnotopia. Lead dev on Blue Sky and the other main dev isn't on Blue Sky right now. And at I can't find Mortally Moonstruck on here, but one of the two lead devs. But thank you for dropping by, Zowsy. Love the tour model, by the way. It's surfing. Oh, there's the password. But, Mortal Moon Games. Oh, okay. And at Mortal... There it is. There. What's that word? Did pride? That doesn't sound right to me. What did I... But yeah, thank you, Zowsy, for the compliment. I tie-upped? Hold on. How many ways can one be gay within a 4-color restriction? Let's count. Discovered Sapphic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aces high, absent. 5, 6. Oh, 7, 8, 9. I guess the answer is 9 then. Kind of weird question now that I think about it, but enjoy your colors regardless. What words have already whispered pride? Thank you for that one, Zowsy. Absolutely based, yes. And also happy Pride, Mary. I am putting Transient on right now. Where is it? Stone colors. Special colors. Amazing. Transient. This will force the game to use this color scheme instead of the recommended default. Yes. Yes! Absent, chaotic, encompassing, fluid, ambitious, sapphic. Analog, aces high. So good. Banger code. It is so good. Based devs. So based. Alright, I guess let's do another run. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. Though they had no need for society, they did often find themselves home to their loneliness they could never quite shake. In the morning, the sun would rise, at night it would set. The recluse would observe this splendor, knowing that the sight would be made all the more beautiful by having someone to share it with. It wasn't that they desired a relationship, perhaps it was a flame that had burned them one too many times. Or perhaps they were simply disinterested. No, a child. Cute. Someone to take care of. Each. Unfortunately, a longing that could not be found, not in these woods, alone. However, we are never quite as alone as we think, are we? One day, a witch appeared, as if drawn by the intensity of the recluse's desire. The lumber that the recluse had spent the morning gathering slipped through their hands as they spotted her, the witch of the woods. She began to speak. You desire a child, yes? For some, those are quite easy to come by, but not you, it would seem. Let us make a deal, then. If you do 3 simple chores for me, I will present you with a daughter of your very own. The recluse, caught up in a moment of naivete, quickly agreed. He began to speak, I like chocolate milk! The witch, knowing that the recluse was destined to accept, simply nodded and began to deliver the first of these so-called chores without hesitation. It is important for a young person to be well grounded in this world, I hear. Bring me a jar of soil to help with this process. Keep in mind that not all dirt is the same, though. Consider the source carefully. Oil? That did sound somewhat magical, the recluse supposed. Left with this vague prompt, they considered their options. My favorite foraging nook. A barren spot of forest long struck by some invisible ailment. The most picturesque section of forest you have ever set eyes upon. Go with that one. There was a place they had passed through on occasion, decorated with green leaves and fragrant blossoming flowers. A place of beauty that left one in such awe was the only choice. Only the best for their daughter. Arriving back at their meeting place, the recluse was excited to share their selection with the witch. So that's what you picked, eh? Very well, it shall do. Feeling the need to scrub their skin, the recluse retired to their hut to cleanse themselves. The second day, the recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. I believe so, yeah, Petite. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do, which was to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. The mushroom with roots is mycelium. Huh. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more and I can finally give you what you want. She paused for only a moment before delivering her next message of import. Growth struggles to be achieved without presence. Offer me that which embodies the emotion you would provide for your daughter. The recluse pondered for a moment what they had to offer. A stone lawn ornament, a deteriorating book of poetry, a silver-backed hand mirror. I think this is, dampness? Almost shamefully, the recluse located an old book of poetry from when they were young and going through a phase. The prose wasn't good by any standard, but it would nevertheless serve as an excellent expression of angst and youthful rebellion for their daughter. Returning to the witch, the recluse held out their offering. My, I suppose all growth comes at a cost, no? Feeling a tender hollowness, the recluse declined to answer. The third day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, then that meant that this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least. That was all they could do. Barely remembering to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful, bright, that you think will suit her. When they were first told of the 3 tasks, the recluse had imagined things that were much more difficult. It seemed so easy as to be a trick, which, they supposed, only meant they should take it seriously, as if a mistake could mean death. With death in mind, the recluse needed to decide where to search for color. Into the field of flowers this time. If someone wanted color, where else was there to even consider? The recluse decided to make their way to a particularly idyllic field of flowers. The field was filled with an overwhelming amount of choice. Before long, the recluse had narrowed the options down to a few. Milkweed, the bright orange herald of the butterflies. Foxglove, purple bell-like mushrooms. Cardinal flowers, a prideful red bloom. Black pansies, a Stygian omen. Bleeding hearts, sanguine and symbolic drops. I'll do foxglove. Wild foxglove. Those flowers had always enchanted the recluse, standing tall at the edges of the path. It was as though they were luring them, tempting them to stray from the path. Perhaps today the recluse just might. An edge of temptation can be healthy. Discovered purple. The recluse returned to the witch's hut, colored item in hand. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. Oh, you want your promised daughter, don't you? Her voice was almost mocking, but at least it was not overtly cruel. I suppose I must tell you that I lied, human. I do require several more trifling things from you. First is the matter of payment. The recluse should have known that everything is for a cost. I mean a much later date, in the way I choose. Pay me now, with life. They told the witch they would offer life as payment. Certainly. Stepping forward, she took them in a cold, yet not unkind, embrace. They awoke hours later with an uneasy feeling that something was missing. The witch was still there, waiting for the recluse. With the payment settled, the witch simply smiled and handed the recluse a small pot. Humans are tricky. The mushrooms are much more resilient. Consider this an upgrade. Don't worry, eventually she will develop a mind. Simply give her time, as much as she needs. Soon your wish will be in full bloom. I suppose with all that settled though, there is one last thing for you to consider. A young girl needs a proper name. The recluse thought on the witch's demand before offering the final thing they had to give. Okay, we need a name. What do we name this one? Unseelie? I could name her after one of my Spreckos. Fuck the Fae. I think Bean. Okay, we'll name her Bean. Then she walked away. Only fate knowing if the two should ever meet again. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Care for the pot, and the dirt, and everything that lay within. So the recluse geared up, as any parent should, and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances, in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide. Nutrients for the child to help it grow strong. They would need plenty, as it would be depleted on a daily basis. And finally, the recluse's own stamina could not be ignored. One cannot burn the candle from both ends indefinitely. Thus began the longest growing season of the recluse's life. I knew it would cost stamina. Recently, you've begun to think about your daughter's living quarters, specifically her pot. You have a few ideas how to improve it, but you only have so much time. Which do you decide to move forward with? Decorate the pot, ensure that her soil remains ever damp. Your cooking scraps as compost. Use the soil with a drop of your own blood. Buy some fancy substrate from town. Cooking scraps as compost sounds good. Recently, when cooking, you have noticed some waste. Perhaps the peels and scraps that you normally throw into the woods could have a better use. Begin to place small fragments of your peels in a special bin. It almost feels as though you are sharing a meal with your daughter, and that thought brings you warmth. Hopefully, she likes your cooking. She'll have a lot of it in her life. Her quality of life having been improved. Life continues. Aww. The day's gotten away from you already. The sun's gentle descent is being swallowed behind the forest's. You weren't able to finish everything that you set out for today. You only have time for one more chore. Already worked hard enough to retire to the tavern, barter for some fine substrates to better grow your daughter, purchase new construction materials for your hut, or finish a favor for the village's leader asked of. Better substrates. An amateur mycologist in the village recently informed you that he had some new supplies that may interest you. Nice catch, Mary. Deciding to take him up on the offer, you come to the conclusion after a brief meeting that right. Take home a fine new pouch of soil. Take some of your hard-earned coin. Your tasks behind you, you and your daughter return home. Each do a nice bath and a dinner. Huh? Something's happening. Your daughter has changed in the night. One day, you find your daughter has left her pot and now hops around your home with determination. The creature jumps about with ease, clear intent now visible on her new face. Her demeanor seems active and brazen, often finding herself engaged in troublesome play. Encourage her boldness, spend time in nurturing her environment, motivate her to do something safer. You decide that now is the best time to promote her growth, spending extra effort improving her living conditions. Your daughter seems to appreciate the attention and nods cheerfully. The decision being made, life continues. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door, quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Woods standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Could she be here for a visit, or that? Introduce her to your daughter. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. Could maybe even learn a thing or two. The two of you answer the door and invite the gloomy woman inside for dry and awkward small talk. Something about the way you two absently stare at the two absently stare at each other. Wonder if they made some sort of connection today. A flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they've become quite the nuisance. This costs stamina. You retrieve your bow and are lucky to leave with not one but two birds from the flock. They shouldn't show up again for a while. You and your daughter may rest. Nothing more could be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. Huh? Something's happening. Aww. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After an hour of searching the nearby area, you find her standing perfectly still in a dense stand of trees. To your surprise, the creature had now taken on the form of a young girl. You feel relieved to confirm that the witch hadn't betrayed you. At your approach, she turns and acknowledges you silently, before continuing to carefully watch her surroundings. Watch her quietly. Buy her a nice gift to celebrate. Tell her it's time to go home. Watch her quietly. You wonder why your daughter has such a silent intensity, but decide not to disturb her. Taking a seat near her, you appreciate the beauty of the forest. Spend time thinking lovingly of your daughter. After several uneasy minutes, she simply turns and walks in the direction of home, seemingly finished with her quiet watching. You haven't been taking very good care of yourself, and you find yourself so worn out that even leaving the house is a challenge. If you continue on without regard for your own stamina, you might very well die. Stay in bed today. You need to rest. You'll sleep when you're dead, which may be very soon. You'll be no use to your daughter in this state, so you decide to spend the day resting. Sitting in bed, you think about your daughter and all the tasks you'll get done tomorrow. Decision being made, life continues. Harsh weather has taken its toll on your garden, and your entire harvest has been lost. Weeks' worth of food and labor has been rotted and destroyed. Without immediate action, you and your daughter will be in trouble later down the line. Times are tough. Offer your daughter some old food. Maybe she'll like it. Make your daughter tend to the plants. Accept the loss for now. You can make do. Kill the garden again and start over from. No use crying over ruined crops. Only make adjustments to your garden. There'll be less variety this season, but you'll live to see it. That's what matters. The decision being made, life continues. An end? One night you find yourself struggling to mind wanders as you consider your current place in life. You've lived peacefully with your daughter for many moons. Initially it was strange. Well, it never stopped being strange, but you were always thankful for the company. Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward their child. Your thoughts turn to the concept of time, particularly how you were once alone, how you are afraid that you will be again someday. Your daughter has had more and more curiosities about the outside world. It's only a matter of time before she wants to strike her own path. You hope you'll be fulfilled now. You hope you've done enough. Ultimately, you find comfort in what you've done. You may have had many failures in your life, but there's one thing you know you can die proud of. And a new beginning. Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world wasn't an easy conversation. As they grew older, you worried about leaving them on their own. Thankfully, your concerns were unwarranted. They were happy that you had grown enough to want to move out. They even offered to help you build your own home, close to theirs. You were welcome to visit any time, obviously. Faster than you would have anticipated, the two of you built your home together. They showed you all the tricks they knew, and made sure to impart as much knowledge as they possibly could. Finally, the day arrived. You were officially on your own. You were scared a little, but also excited. It felt like a new chapter was just beginning for you. Loving parent. A girl on her own. Bean! Common little brown mushroom. I got the dud? What? Unidentifiable. You never got big enough to fully identify. You're a little different every day, and that's a-okay with you. Incompetent. Underdeveloped. You didn't receive proper care and grew into a stunted adult. Loser. Cries often. But I had 14, stunted mushroom. Too small and nondescript to have much use. I was at max nutrients the entire time. What the heck? What the heck? You ran out of stamina? But I rested. You walk through the marketplace, you're met with a new sight. Today you find a new vendor in the town square, an old man with no eyebrows, and behind him, a large cauldron. In front of him, strange glassware, each filled with strange liquids. The man seems to catch you staring. Don't worry, girlie, I ain't no witch, he proudly exclaims. You don't bother to tell him, but you're able to deduce that much. Didn't push in a specific stat for long enough, I'm not quite sure. I see. I have potions for everything. Tell me what you want, little mushroom girl, and I'll make a potion for it. This seems sketchy, to say the least, but you can't help but be curious. I want to be something better. I want a different lot in life. I've always wanted to pursue different skills. I want to be less naive. I don't really want anything except perhaps a surprise. I don't really trust this. No generalists allowed. I want to be something better. I want a different lot in life. You tell the man that you've sometimes suspected your creation was botched. You feel like, had the recluse and the witch of the woods performed differently, perhaps you could have been something more grand. Now, don't be an ingrate, he chides you. But where they failed, my potion will succeed. You quickly negotiate payment with the man, and when the two of you reach an agreement, he begins to brew your potion. The man moves surprisingly quick for his age. He takes an assortment of components and reagents, tossing them into the cauldron with a certain method and rhythm you can't identify. Before long, he hands you a small vial with a bright red elixir. Drink this before you go to sleep. Don't plan on doing anything tomorrow either. You may be sore. The most trans-looking game I've ever seen. The dev came in and gave you a code to unlock the trans colors. Well, one of the devs anyway. Based as hell, by the way. You take the vial and thank the man, heading home with a mix of fear and curiosity brewing in your bones. Among several other pride colors. Yeah, there was a bunch of them. That night you do just as the man said. When you awoke the next morning, he felt better. Ah! Fail! Ran to the mirror as soon as you rose, feeling a deep ache within your body. Glancing at yourself, it was clear you had undergone dramatic changes. You were not what you were before, and you felt that something about you was, simply put, poor. You would rest today, as he told you, but there was a certain joy you felt in this soreness. You were able to control your destiny. There was power to that. Delicate hue. People are more likely to love you. Aww. You're a little different every day, and that's a-okay with you. Yeah, it was just, it was just pride. A certain joy you felt in this soreness. You're able to control your destiny. There is a power to that. A man wearing vibrant multicolored robes and a large pack approaches your home. He's heard rumors of a beautiful fungal woman and has come to paint you. He asks if you'll give him the honor of being the first to put your beauty on the canvas. Refuse. You're not so vain as to want art made of you. Convince the artist to teach you instead. Accept the artist's request and allow him to paint you. Alright. Yay, pass! After a few hours of modeling for the man, he finishes his work and turns the canvas to show you. You have been painted sitting on a fallen tree next to a road. You seem at home just watching both people and carriages pass by you. Your vibrant color stands out from the forest's edge that stretches out behind you. You later receive a letter telling you that the painting was sold to a rich logger. Gain trait model, sort of reputable. Model. You have posed for an artist and found that it suits you. You have been a good person. The mountains bordering the northern reaches of the forest call to you. You see them every day on your adventures, and there is an overwhelming desire to climb them that simply can't be ignored. Readying yourself in the early hours of the morning, you glance over the materials you have on hand. That's dampness. I have slightly better robustness. Stuffed to the brim, your pack makes it somewhat difficult to move. So difficult that your legs buckle under the first step and you fall over. With your pack all set, you make your way out to the mountain. After a couple hours of climbing, you feel like you've made some decent progress, though you're starting to get a bit tired. Just as you think it's time for a break, you come across a beautiful mountain spring, complete with its own waterfall. Relaxing showers, dampness. Train your endurance! Ah, fail! You've often heard that waterfalls are powerful. You can use some of that for yourself. After a quick look around to ensure you're alone, you make your way to the waterfall. You know one thing for sure, it's wet. It is also powerful, you suppose. The raging waters around you are rough on your body and mind. You go to grab your pack and realize that your arms feel like wet noodles. You're forced to drag yourself home. Mountains are overrated anyway. Aww. You feel a crisp breeze. The heat is relenting. Trees are changing in color. Fall has arrived. One day, without realizing it, you had stayed in the village much later than intended. The sun has fully set, and darkness has enveloped all. Thankfully, you are fully capable of taking care of yourself. You know the settlement well, and the lack of sun does not change that. You decide to take a shortcut through an alley, but to your surprise, there are others there as well. Quite a few others, in fact. It quickly becomes apparent to you that most of the alley's denizens are going into a single door. One that, when open, you can hear the faint sounds of revelry and triumph through. When they go to leave, many have small trinkets and seem tired from a long night of cheering. Enter the door. I didn't get to meet the dream girl this time. After a while of spying, you get the impression that people are free to enter. Your people, basically, so you figure it's safe to investigate further. As you step inside, the roar of the crowd grows in volume and clarity. It takes your eyes a second to adjust to the dim light. You move past a few tables full of merchant goods into a large room full of people. At the center of it is an arena, topped with a fighting ring. The ring is currently in use as two combatants circle each other. One fighter is a man in a crude grasshopper mask, constructed out of dyed linen and leaves. He moves with a quick staggered step, often feinting at his opponent. Everyone's people dipshit, it came free with your fucking sapience. His opponent, a tall figure largely obscured by a dark cloak, counters nimbly, keeping low. He watches the grasshopper man, grabs the cloak, using it to pull his opponent around the ring. You find yourself drawn towards the crowd. The mood of the fight is simply intoxicating. Before you know it, you're whooping and hollering with the rest. Finally, in a thrilling conclusion, the caped fighter manages to subdue the crude grasshopper. They triumphantly suplex the masked man, to the joy of the crowd. Though initially slightly concerned for the man's health, you find that both fighters have support immediately afterwards. Slowly, the crowd begins to dissipate. What a thrilling event! You go to leave. A chubby woman wearing an elaborately decorated pair of glasses stops you. I've never seen anyone quite like you before, love. If you ever want to fight, come back here anytime. I think that we could help you be something spectacular. You accept a scrap of paper the woman hands you. On it lists her name and where to find her. My potency went up, I think? After giving her a quick farewell, you dash back home with much to consider. You're awoken in the middle of the night by a loud crash from your kitchen. You scramble to investigate and finally catch the source of the racket. A man, hunched over in pain, in the middle of your cooking nook. He spots you and seems to panic, waving his hands around. Wait, it's not what it looks like! Well, it's exactly what it looks like, but I injured myself, so I'm no longer pursuing that plan. Why don't you bless the port full and choose to excuse my rudeness? An injured thief is still a thief. Kick him out. Excuse his rudeness. With a sigh, you help the man to a more comfortable seating situation. It appears that he may have injured his leg somehow in a fall. After a short while, he seems more comfortable moving around. Thank you kindly for the help, ma'am. He seems appreciative and shockingly charismatic. He gives you a sly grin and a wave before leaving you to your own business. While attending to your home, you begin to feel an otherworldly pull towards the forest. You can't resist, and moments later you find yourself surrounded by trees and standing in front of a mushroom-covered hut. Deep within you, you know the witch that made you resides here. Enter the hut with the hope of learning some magic. Force yourself to turn tail around and quickly head home. Enter the hut cautiously and treat her as a stranger. Get some humanity. Yes, pass! You enter, acting respectful but not overly familiar, and find the witch waiting for you. She treats you like a patient or maybe like some project. She asks questions about your health and your impact on the locals. After she is done, she sends you on your way. A chilling breeze greets you one morning, heralding the approach of winter. The end of the year approaches, and you find yourself considering your aspirations. You want to accomplish something significant, you decide, something you'll remember. Take on a dangerous quest, spend a charming evening at the gala, decide not to pursue anything. Recently, you've garnered enough attention in the area to be invited to a high-class event. This could be an opportunity to celebrate the year, or invite someone you wish to grow closer with. Alone, the person who raised you. Invite the person who raised you. You know that the recluse is not a fan of crowds, however the thought of attending the gala with them appeals to you. Besides, you couldn't imagine a better person to laugh at normal humans with. The gala isn't until the end of the year. That should be plenty of time to pay the recluse a visit. Strolling through the village, you find a donation box in front of the church. It offers lovely hats that might dress your oddly shaped head yet. And if no one particularly minds, you may even be able to keep one of them. Leave the hats, you don't need them anyway. Take the big hat, in your favorite color. You choose a hat that you find rather lovely. The wonders of being a fey child can still astound you. But other times they prevent you from noticing a wet hat either. Maybe this donation bit has been out longer than you thought. While on your way to gather firewood, you find that your world is suddenly turned upside down, quite literally. After a second of disorientation, you suss out that you somehow walked yourself right into a trap. Your foot is above you, caught in a thick rope loop. You call for help, hoping someone is nearby. Thankfully, that seems to be the case. When the figure gets close enough for you to see, you feel a sense of familiarity. It's the thief who attempted to rob you in the night. Why, hello there, he greets. You seem a little high-strung today. His joke falls flat on you. Nonetheless, he's quick to help cut you down. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I wasn't trying to catch you. I'll tell you what. To make up for it, plus the attempted robbery the other night, why don't I teach you a thing or two? Of course, my areas of knowledge are rather narrow. I do like learning. You consider the rogue's offer and realize that you have no reason to decline. Your chore wasn't time-sensitive, so you agreed to shadow the man for the rest of your day. The two of you get up to many hijinks, and you discover that though the man does have a penchant for thievery, he seemed to try his best to avoid overt cruelty. You also discover many useful tricks along the way, even if most of them are not entirely lawful. You return to your home that night with a promise that you could tag along with him again any time you so desire. The Thief's Apprentice! There's a knock at your door. When you go to answer it, you see a man dressed in an elegant black suit. Are you the fungal woman of the woods? He asks, as though seeing you in the mushy flesh was not enough. My employer wishes to invite you to a small dinner gathering. He's heard much about you and thinks her guests would relish a chance to actually be acquainted with you. You stand there, slightly in shock, as the man proceeds to outline the details of the event. When you should arrive, what sort of clothing you should wear. Oh, do you wear clothing? I'll have to double check the dress code, etc. Finally, after handing you a small scrap of paper with elegant writing on it and bidding you adieu, the man left to your doorstep. You think about the event that's been described to you and ultimately come to a decision. You have learned to not meddle in the affairs of humans, attend the event, and simply be yourself. You figure, why not? If they would like to meet you, you should be kind enough to allow that. On the day of the event, you gather yourself. You have nerves, of course, but that's only natural. You make your way to the party. When you arrive, you see dozens of people dressed in monocles and other strange clothing items that don't seem to serve any practical purpose. They're all sitting at a large rectangular table, spotted with food dishes that you couldn't even begin to guess the identity of. A woman eventually greets you with an excited shriek. Oh, you are just darling! Butler, please fight a drink for our guest and have her seated. Hold on. You still have the delicate hue. You figure this is the host and thank her for the invitation. She moves to sit next to you at the large table and ends up keeping you company for the rest of the night. Over the course of the evening, she introduces you to everyone around the table. They all seem charmed by you, even if most of them are a little monastic. By the end of the party, you had met a variety of humans that you doubt you'll remember the name of. But you had fun doing it, and they'll certainly remember you. Gained trait, reputable. You have consistently been a good person. Yay! Even though we're the thief's apprentice, there's a man who teaches you how to do unlawful things. You hope he's teaching you well. You wanted to attend the gala with the recluse. A gala with your parent. One afternoon, while sitting at home, you realize something. Today is the day of the town's end of year gala. Knowing how to do shady shit doesn't mean you gotta use it for shady purposes. True. This was something you've been anticipating. You were thrilled when your parent agreed to join you. They must be on their way now. The recluse's big night out. When your daughter had suddenly suggested that you attend a large social function in town, you were a little torn. You knew that they had to do it, and that you had to do it in the same sense that you would have to do any silly little thing she asks because she is your child and you love her, but this? Simply put, you're unsure where she gets her taste for such things. Surely not from you. As the sun approached its zenith, you knew you would be arriving at your home any moment. The two of you could share the walk to town. Though you are regularly forced to make brief visits to the village, you do your best to avoid the hustle and bustle of the most populated areas. Tonight would be an exception. Finally, you could see a lot of verdigris in the distance. A dot of verdigris in the distance. Bean. Greet her with a hug. A nice pat on the shoulder will do. We're gonna hug our child. As she approaches, you rush up and greet her with a tight hug. The two of you decide to begin the long walk to the location of the gala. The most direct path has you passing through the village. A walk that the two of you have taken together quite often. This evening, the town is lively. Many seem to be making preparations for the gala, and you find that your daughter's attention has been thoroughly captured by someone selling floral accessories. You will find your corsages. You will find our corsages are the finest in all the land, the salesman claims. You find yourself dubious, but Bean has a sparkle in her eye. Flowers? You can gather those yourself. The girl is already organic. She doesn't need flowers. Buy it for her. Ah, what the hell. The girl so rarely seeks out material goods, you feel as though she deserves a little treat. You take the coins from your purse, and, much to her surprise, purchase one of the flowered bracelets. Without further ado, you slip it onto her arm. Thankfully, it's a natural fit. The salesman thanks you, and you and your daughter continue the trek. With the matter settled, the two of you finish your comfortable walk to the estate that the gala was held at. You find yourself thinking about this event. It's one that you have heard about for many years. You've never felt the urge to learn more. As a large building entered your sight, you can't help but think that you'd still rather avoid it. Alas, it was out of your hands. Thankfully, your daughter looked pleased enough for the both of you. Perhaps it was the spectacle, just seeing all these people around, donning fancy clothes and smug looks. Maybe she didn't notice those, or maybe they were all on your head. Before you can dwell any longer, Bean grabs your hand and drags you in. As you enter, your senses are overwhelmed with all the things that humans do at events like this. Musicians in the corner chirping away on their instruments, the wafting aroma of food and drink far fancier than you are used to. A wonderland of human creation by humans for humans. Sometimes you feel as though you don't fit into that category, or that you must not if you don't enjoy such things. But for now, you overlook the man-made chaos. You and Bean wander the gala for a while, familiarizing yourself with the locale. Finally, after getting a good look at everything, you find yourself tiring. You sit at a table, and Bean sits beside you. While sitting, you and your daughter can't help but overhear some concerning nearby chatter. It would appear that a dance-off is to take place. Unfortunately, a dance-off does not seem to refer to turning dancing off. Evidently, it's some manner of intense tournament where the last dancers left standing win. You can sense the gears in Bean's head spinning. She wants to participate in the contest, no doubt. But you're not sure you can do it. Dance off, or I don't feel particularly competitive. We're gonna dance off! No, 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 no! You cannot believe you are reared a child that desires not only to dance, but to dance in a competition with you! You cannot believe you want to do it for her, despite your many concerns! The panic fills your heart and chest, and you do your best to push it away. You try to repeat the mantra, it's for her, which helps. You stand, casually dusting your shoulder off, and tell her you are prepared. When you arrive at the dance floor, you are surprised by the number of participants. Probably 2 score people stand before you. And you were supposed to dance for longer than any of them? The judge of the contest stands tall, wearing a colorful scarf to distinguish them from the crowd. Sorry about that. Let's see. The rules are simple. The last duo dancing wins. Now let's hear it for the band. As they finish speaking, the band leaps to life. Loud, melodic music fills the dance floor as the participants begin to dance. Now all that's left is to dance! Cut the rug! You aren't as spry as you once were. Beads of sweat start to form on your forehead. Dance like no one's watching! As you put your left foot in and your right foot out, you find the heat feeling your brain overwhelming. For just a moment, everything goes numb. Then you realize you're looking up from the floor. Bean's eyes are full of concern, that which barely dissipates as you sit upright. All around you, dancers continue to dance. The bubble around you and Bean is small, barely enough to prevent your limbs from being danced over or on. Nevertheless, the show goes on, you suppose. You stand, dusting yourself off. The pain you feel as a result of your dancing comes as a surprise. You'd have to take it easy tomorrow. Though the girl is clearly a little disappointed, she doesn't seem to blame you for your body's failings. Perhaps you're not as young as you used to be. She helps you up, and the two of you return home. Chapter 3, again! Getting back early was something you had realistically expected, which you think helps avoid disappointment. At least you knew the recluse made it back safely. As you grow older, you look back over your life. You think back to the witch who created you, and can't help but wonder if everything met her expectations. You wonder if you were the daughter your parent had hoped for. Ending after all this time. You have grown up. Common verdigris agaric.
Shinsuke all year round, son!
Alright, Poppy got out. Happy Pride Star. And, dude. I feel like I'm kind of messing up here. Use these to purchase goods or otherwise improve your circumstances. Tokens represent expendable resources. You can stack these on the corners of some specific cards to bend the odds in your favor. I didn't even know I could do that. I think you can get like a trophy from those events. I think so. It sounds like the sort of thing you would be able to get that from. This. Probably losing the dance-off meant you missed the chance. Probably. Oh, verdigris agaric. Pixie's parasol. A tiny glistening mushroom associated with Bay. Slime form. Incompetent. A huge mushroom with an adorably vibrant color. Delicate hue and uncertain. Oh, I like this. I want this one back. Let me see. Yeah. I feel like we could do one more run and try to get a better one. Let me... Fun an adventure game within a game. Wait, what? In this game? Probably the dangerous quest one. Alright. Let's try it one more time. I'm gonna read a little bit less. Watch these early ones. Recluse. I'm gonna skip over all the witch stuff. Go to this world with little to her name. Let us even tales. Bring me an heirloom. Old bottle of medicine. Simmering music box. The sharpest knife you own. The book isn't here. Do mycelium, I guess. Caught up with the witch. They got up and went to meet the witch. Admirably. There have been some activities of immunity got too. Perhaps you could make the okay. Dark selection. Best a selection of elixirs for quality. Tend to a certain matter of a noxious laundry basket. I think this is humanity. I'm gonna do this. Surely the witch wouldn't offer anything that could kill or maim, right? Recluse tried to clear their head of worries as they carefully slipped. In the end, they did walk away safely, at the very least. Arriving back to their meeting point, the recluse was excited to report their progress to the witch. Ah, very good. How kind of you. Third day, with 2 assignments complete, the recluse could still feel their excitement grow. This witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she... Okay, oh, this is just the color one. Stony River. The Cave of Indecision. There was a place the recluse went when they could not make up their mind on a matter. Though their daughter's life was important, and every choice may matter, they knew that not every choice was theirs to make. It was unfair to saddle her with all of their expectations. Sometimes it was best to let destiny decide. They entered the darkness of the cave, feeling soft moss beneath. They went far enough back, there was no longer enough light to make out their surroundings. It was far enough. They reached down, taking the first thing they felt into their hands. This is what they would take to the witch. Okay. Okay, it's all this stuff. Wealth with life. Pay me at a much later date in the way I choose. Recluse told the witch they couldn't repay her, not anytime soon. That is fine. Of course, I will collect payment eventually. Pot. See the name. I'm not. I think I have one. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Child. Amazing cultivation simulator. Today's already gotten away from you. One more chore. Hire to the tavern. Purchase new construction materials for your hut. Home has served you well, but only because it ensured that you could serve it well. Pay pay for and take home a variety of materials that you can use to build a better life for your daughter. Tasks behind you, you and your daughter return home. Nice bath and a dinner. Pot. Infuse the soil with a drop of your own blood. Ensure that your soil remains ever damp. Decorate the pot. Buy some fancy substrate from town. Cooking scraps as compost. Buy some fancy substrate. Last time you were in town, you noticed a new sign posted above the botanist's shop. It had been advertising some expensive foreign soil. Perhaps your daughter would like a touch of culture, though you have little to offer her yourself. To purchase it, you have to interact with this cashier, but thankfully the interaction is brief. As you repot your daughter with the new soil, you like to imagine that this is her version of a vacation. Changed in the night. One morning, you awaken with a weight on your chest and open your eyes to find a heavy mushroom sitting atop you. I think I saw that, Petite. The creature has grown little arms and legs and demonstrates her newfound mobility by clambering off the bed as you wake. Her demeanor seems cheerful, wandering about in an excitable and inquisitive mood. Encourage her optimism. Spend time nurturing her environment. Encourage her optimism. Your daughter's development is going better than expected. Want to promote her cheerful nature. You encourage her to appreciate beautiful things, bringing her to that flower-filled glade you once visited. Enthralled by the wondrous sights, appreciating nature and quickly becomes her favorite pastime. She spends much of her time wandering outside. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door, quite a rare occurrence. Look to the woods. Introduce her to your daughter. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. You could maybe even learn a thing or two. Think of the way the two absolutely stare at each other. While tapping some trees one day, you overhear a noise. It sounds like the clinking of coins and dice. For long, you manage to track down the source, a wingless fairy sitting in the eye of a tree. A human? Oh no! Now I'll be forced to gamble, the Fae cried out unconvincingly. I'm the Dice Fae, you see. I have no choice but to gamble with every human that passes by. You even get to pick the stakes. Because I don't know. Let's go gambling. The rules are simple. If I roll a 5 or less, I win. If I roll a 6 or higher, well, that means that you win. Compelling, right? Gambling with a fairy? What the hell? Why not? What do you want to offer? A coin. A significant bag of substrate. A finger. A daughter. Oh no! What? Oh no! What happens if I lose this? But, they're gonna take... Don't you want to find out? This is... Maybe stake a finger instead. Indebted. Eventually the witch will come for you. Got 10 of those anyway. I'll stake a finger then. Well, if you're gonna gamble with a fairy, you might as well get a keepsake out of it, one way or another. The fairy grins. In fact, you swear you can even see him lick his little lips. Settles you. It's been a while since anyone's given me one of those. Good luck, human. Thus, he casts the die. Rattle, rattle. When the die lands on an 8, you can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The fairy, on the other hand, seems upset. Not again, he whines, slapping himself on the forehead with a 3-fingered hand. Man, I hope this one grows back. Without further complaint, the fairy quickly did what he had to deliver the recluse their prize. A fairy's pinky finger. So tiny, and yet, surely it held a vast quantity of magic. Regardless, you walk away pleased. We'll have to show your prize off to the girl when you get home. Maybe you'll even let her have a bite. Happening. Your daughter has changed in the night. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After an hour searching the nearby area, you find her walking in a nearby meadow. To your surprise, the creature had now taken the form of a young girl. You feel relieved and betrayed you. Sit and watch her play. Buy her a nice gift to celebrate. Tell her it's time to go home. My ceiling. Humanity. I guess we'll go humanity. Kneel beside your daughter and offer your hand, telling her it's time to go. She smiles contentedly, and the two of you return home, hand. Your daughter needs food, too, and you've just run out. You need to find something to feed her soon, or she'll surely starve. Gathering nutritious substrate. You can't spare the time today, she'll have to go hungry. Spend the day foraging and digging in the woods. Return with a heap of mushroom food for your hungry daughter. It's a little hard to be sure, but it seems like she's thankful for your efforts. Realize you've finished all your work for the week and have a whole day free. Time cleaning up. Take your daughter to see the Witch of the Woods. Take your daughter on a scenic hike. Teach your daughter some important lessons. Oh, we'll sleep well, Bubble Lubber. Take her to visit the witch. Take your daughter to visit the witch once again, so she might learn a little more from her. Yeah, good night, Bubble Lubber. Witch is happy to see you both and spends a pleasant evening with the two of you. Seems like she's developed quite a fondness for the little mushroom girl. Maybe the witch could consider the both of you like family. An end? Doesn't look any different. Poisonous, hallucinogenic. Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world, it wasn't an easy conversation. The same. Same. An Amanita? Luna, come on brown, fly agaric. Fly agaric, we got Amanita. Great appeal, you're naturally charming, and people seem to love you. Poisonous. You have a bad habit of causing great harm to those who take a bite of you. Hallucinogenic, may cause hallucination. Hog. Mystic bond. Mystic connection. Your bond with the witch has been deepened. Loving parent. The recluse will always live in your heart, and for the time being, next door. Hi, doggo. Yeah, I saw her earlier. Hope that's going well. Four. Empower spells or poison with fours at the cost of your own potency. Interesting. Having taken a leisurely stroll one day, you set upon a humble shack nestled among dense brush across the nearby river. And from the hovel bounds a symphony of music reverberating off of the trees. With curiosity grabbing hold, you saunter off the beaten path, making your way to the water's edge. To your surprise, a ramshackle bridge extends across the water. Before you know it, you're face to face with the shack's rotting door. Knock on the door. Wait, what? This is what? Is this the adventure thing you were talking about? I guess knock on the door? You wrap your knuckles in the door. After a moment, a slight shuffling can be heard from inside. At length, the door opens, and you are greeted to the bewildered expression of a rather strange-looking crone. The figure is tall and looming, hunched over with a head still a solid foot above your own. A hood veils their eyes, and where it would expose the skin, there travels only matted whiskers long since frayed. You notice their skin as the crone raises a hand in greeting, gnarled and dark like the knot of a tree. As they speak, hoarsely, churning out a polite hello, you catch the subtlest torrent of voices intermingled from within, like an amalgam of souls. It has been quite a while since a visitor graced my doorstep. Would you like to come inside? Surely you have been drawn by the music, no? Just like how I have a light allergy to chocolate. Oh no. You can't say no. You really are captivated by the music. Without delay, You take the crone up on their offer and enter their home. They seem nice enough. And you get the feeling that all the apprehension built up before has melted away. Plus, the interior smells like fresh jasmine. What better way to distress? The crone shows you the source of the music, a strange box at the far end of the room. As they're showing off the piece, the music stops and the crone hits a small switch, shutting down the mechanisms. This here is a phonograph, used for playing music off these cylinders. The crone fiddles with the machine, taking off a black wax cylinder. This one is part of a suite, the finale. The crone hangs their head low. Unfortunately, the rest of the suite is lost to me. The crone pauses for a moment, looks at you up and down, and says, "Ah, but you have a draw to the music, eh?" Hard to tell, but you believe his smile to have cracked somewhere beyond the mask of whiskers. If that's the case, you seem able enough. Tell you what, if you're able to collect the other 9 parts of the suite, I'll give you the finale as a gift. One cannot enjoy the suite without the full collection. Shrug. The offer seems straightforward enough. Without reluctance you accept. Much to the crone's satisfaction. Then I would ask a story. One that might help glean the location of another cylinder, which is interesting. It is, however, quite the long story, should you wish to do other things. Please note, upon selection, a special event will proceed. It is recommended to set aside sufficient time to experience this event in full. Continue? Listen to the story. Ah, yes. The crone stoops and plays across from you, resting on what you assume are haunches. They open the book, you feel enraptured, engrossed, enthralled before you know it. Words blend into a dappling of and seemingly spirits you away to the light.
Upon listening to the story, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety.
As with many, this tale began in tragedy. An errant child, kid was exiled from town, branded with heresy and derision. She bore no sin but that of her birth, specifically the eyes. Bouldering pools of violet. They were the same eyes as the Violet Witch, malefactor who had been terrorizing this area for years. As such, the kid was left with only a lone heart to look out for her. Similar soul, lonesome and lorn in the depths of the woods. She was raised good and raised well. Ooh. Raised good and raised well, and whilst she never truly needed the approval of others, still wished to be seen as less of an outsider, yet at the very least, a modicum of. But peace was ill-becoming of the time, ever flew. Despite the love and care bestowed upon her by her guardian, she could not stay. Fire came in the night. At first it was deemed an accident, happenstance. The attacks became emboldened, frequent, turning from 1 or 2 into small mobs, each time led by a sightless man, as if to taunt. As long as the Violet Witch roamed the land, the kid would know no sanctuary. She could only bring pain to those who would offer her comfort. And so, after a heated argument with her guardian, she forced herself to leave, lest they be caught up in the madness. The kid set off without preparation, carrying with her only a smolder of conviction. Nevertheless, she was savvy, complete with a few well-honed skills needed for survival. It wasn't long before she was very well away from home. Well away from home, out beyond the threshold where the fair woods fell away to shadowy hinterland. Though according to rumors of the Violet Witch, her manse less than a day's travel southwest. And as it were, there were 3 ways to go about heading there. The Galdrace Highway, which the kid had been taking, dilapidated as it was, the old-growth forest, as unwelcoming as it seemed, or the gentle riverbank. This worries me. Cut through the old growth. The endless canopy snuffed out any remaining light that was left to be found in the night's steady embrace. In spots, the trees grew in rows, though meticulously planted. Other areas, the trees sprouted with wild abandon, cropping up wherever they pleased. But regardless, all trees towered as megaliths, altars to a forgotten time. She had made her way through the harrowing woods. As she saw the light of the manse appear just beyond, a glint caught her eye. There, buried in the trunk of a moss-covered tree. Nice catch, Mary. A knife stuck out. From where its blade cut into the bark, opalescent buds sprung forth. The kid, needing supplies, wrenched the blade from its resting place, and hooked it firmly about her waist. With just a few more steps, the woods were behind her. The kid could enter. Budding knife. Glittering buds grew over the That's cool. Though she thought for a moment, there was still enough twilight to search around nearby. Of course, it may not be worth it. Chris! Search the river. Doubling back for a bit, the kid decided to check out the river. It was a pleasant walk, traversing the bank, and they even found a small piece of jewelry on the silt. Upon further inspection, however, it appeared to be a talisman made in the likeness of a circle of fairies. Talisman depicting a ring of 3 fairies. One holds a candlestick, the plays from a life, and the third appears to gilded eye. Pleased with her find, the kid returned to the manse and found its front door to be unlocked. Feeling her stomach sink, the kid steeled her nerve and pushed on. The Violet Witch's manse was regal though disheveled. It didn't appear as though anyone had been home for some time, even if there was a distinct lack of dust on the surfaces. Very little furniture decorated her vaulted foyer. Exits on the other side led to the library and the dining hall, with a spiraling staircase, led into darkness overhead. Examine. Fine potted plant, grandfather clock, chandelier, suspicious corner. Check out the suspicious corner. Portrait of the lady of the house hung menacingly in the corner of the room. Taller and wider than a full-grown adult, her eyes pierced into the kid's soul. Cut up the painting. Kid thrust her knife into the subjectively derivative piece of art and rent the canvas away from the wall. To their surprise, a fortified door with a magical seal preventing passage lay just beyond. Upon further inspection, the seal seemed to unlock with a spoken password. Examine the welcome sign. A flat board made of cork sat on the wall, with little ceramic letters backed by pins pushed into the facade. It read, "Live, Laugh, Spellcraft." Rearranged the letters. With a little creative tinkering, the kid changed the sign to read, "Ugh, all lifesteal." Potted plant. A pitiful wilt thing. The kid's first thought upon seeing such a sad remark was to believe it to be desiccated. Perhaps she was right. Check out the grandfather clock. An ancient clockwork soldier, tirelessly carrying on his duty without complaint. Something sinister emanated from it. The kid felt a tinge of fear as the hands neared midnight. Or examine. Ugh, all life still. With a little. You pull a evil fart. Spectre hag fail. Live, laugh, spellcraft. Let's do it. The evil fart. Anything different with the plant? Nope. Check out the chandelier. An intricate crystal chandelier hung down from overhead. Its tether disappeared into the darkness of the vaulted ceiling. Light shone down in a flood. Channel the talisman to cut the tether! The kid held up the talisman, who felt their spirit swell. Before them appeared a small fairy, who flitted up to the chandelier's tether and cut it loose. Oh. Or. An intricate crystal chandelier hung down from overhead. Broken shards of crystal and glass littered the floor. The kid had to be cautious where they stepped. Let's go to the library. A vibrant carpet and luscious scarlet drapes helped to pull together a warm, rich environment within the hardwood library. The room stretched up far above, concealing darkness just beyond a mezzanine. Table and chair. Comfortable table and chair duo tucked in the corner of the library. Mostly cast in shadow, it was hard for the kid to discern anything of note. Copy. Bookshelf. Along the majority of the library's wall ran a magnificent bookcase. As it were, several books stood out notably to the kid. Read the book, read the second. Third book. Third book the kid set aside ended up being a cookbook of all things. Legends note one recipe in particular that had caught her eye, mashed mushroom mustard. Supposedly quite savory. Legends say that the first book the kid had set aside was a political satire on the salacious rumors of some ancient kingdom's arrogant new kingdom, and his new, less than visible attire. The second book the kid set aside chronicled an ancient grieving ritual wherein an icy queen untethered herself in a moment of desperation and fell into an endless slumber. Allegedly, the queen's frigid embrace can be felt on the wind atop the tallest mountain. Heavy curtains? Blood-red curtains hung from on high, obscuring a gigantic window. The kid, taking their knife, slashed out a piece of fabric, fashioning it into a cape. Legends say she looked quite stylish. Is that a reference to Celeste? I sure hope so. Check out the mezzanine. Far above, though before the shadows restricted her vision, the kid could spy a mezzanine. The library had a very clear second floor that was inaccessible from the first. Never mind. Okay, let's go to the foyer. Travel to the dining hall. The dining hall was modest and cozy, though elaborate enough to default it as a place of sophisticated living. Tall windows lined the wall, looking out into an inky night, offering views for every seat along the extended table traveling the length of the room. On the wall, a portrait of a woman sat crooked, and around the corner, a hearth sat blazing beneath the bust of a stuffed boar. In the shadowy corner, a door led surreptitiously into the kitchen. Examine portrait. A tender portrait of a veiled woman cradling a silent, staring baby hung crooked on the wall. The kid felt unnerved. The babe had her eyes. Hearth. A roaring fire heated the room efficiently, though beyond the flames there appeared to be a key. The taxidermied bust of a massive black bristled boar hung on the wall of the dining room. Its tusks looked ferocious enough to pierce steel plates, if not something stronger. You know, according to outside accounts of the kid's story, they say the table was made of real mahogany. Real mahogany! Do you have any idea how hard it is to source that stuff around here? I mean, what do we have? What do we have? Fur? Well, regardless, it was quite fancy, especially for a witch who appeared lacking in the dinner guest department. I did not expect an Anchorman reference. Go to the kitchen. The kid entered the kitchen and found little of interest. Random cutlery and the lingering smell of stale grease littered the room. An oven attached to some counters along with the rear side of the hearth crowded around the far side of the room near a door leading into the pantry. Examine rear side of the hearth. The kid looked into the hearth and realized that there was a key dropped in there, resting behind the flames. All they had to do was pluck the key out and they had access to the pantry. Real mahogany! Stone countertops. A slate countertop littered with cutlery. The kid couldn't glean anything of note. Check the oven. Standard brick oven, slightly ostentatious and certainly oversized. It didn't seem like anything had been cooked in there for some time. Let's go to the pantry. The heavy chime of the grandfather clock declared, "The time is 10 o'clock." The pantry was dark, cool, and musty. Larger than expected for the size of the man's, it nestled unsettling thoughts into the kid's mind. Rotten foodstuffs. A disgusting pile of rotting food that made the kid feel sick. There was no telling how long it had been sitting there. Servant's note. A small, bloodied piece of paper that maddeningly detailed a particular book within the library, but for whatever reason it did not explain why. Regardless, it piqued the kids' interest. They would have to check the shelves for the tome. Particularly savvy-looking rat. A large rotund rat sat in the center of the pantry, watching the kid. Hey, he was like a thrifty sort. How's about an exchange, eh? You scratch my back, I scratch yours, capiche? Find me some cheese, yeah? This food ain't no good, for nobody know how. Get me a little of the goods, though, and I'm liable to talk. The kid blinked at the rat before continuing on their rummaging. After all, who has time to speak with the shifty, not to mention magical vermin? What else is in here? Let's go find that book. Pantry. Go to the dining hall. Go to the foyer. Travel to the library. Examine a bookshelf, heavy curtains, mezzanine. Bookshelf? First book. Read the secret book. The kid opened the book, expecting to find some boring scrap of information, but instead was greeted with a hollowed out center. And within that center, a key. Yes! I got the bedroom key. Return to the foyer. Go upstairs. The kid found themselves in a, might I say, dramatically lit hallway. We're talking candelabras, stained glass, the works. The hallway only led two ways. Downstairs back to the foyer, and into the man's bedroom at the opposite end. The surreal portrait? The kid studied the portrait in the hallway. It was of a familiar-looking woman, caught frozen in an expression of surprise, as though she had not expected acknowledgement. Go to the bedroom. The kid, finally finding the bedroom, had to take in the strangely intimate feeling of her surroundings. The room was quite enviable. One way led to a personal lavatory, the other way toward the library's mezzanine. With the only other way out back into the hallway, the kid couldn't help but take a gander around. Check out the wardrobe. A large hardwood wardrobe set with handles just waiting for the kid's fingers to grasp. And within she found a marvelous cane, tipped in iron with the effigy of a hawk. The man's cane. While blunt, it still posed a significant method of damage when swung. Polished vanity. A beautifully simplistic vanity set in the corner of the room. Inside, a diary belonging to the lady of the house sat opened, reading, I fear to have fallen unto thraldom. I mustn't forget the code to the altar. Mine own faith feels faint of late. I pray this omen ne'er to afflict my sweet child. Remember it. Remember the code, ye tired wretch. Epiclo, the sake of thy daughter. It's odd, but the kid wondered if there might be more information yet to be found in the diary. The kid scanned the pages, searching for any more information about the lady's altar. Unfortunately, the only information she was able to find was vague. When I am in need of direction, I must remember, search deep within, and perhaps an answer will arise. I must always remember my faith, mine own altar hidden within. The kid considered this passage, wondering more about the lady of the house. Perhaps she could simply see the lady if she could simply see the lady, she would find answers. Interestingly, the kid found there to be a distinctly lucid passage ripped out and folded up in the back of the diary. Read it. The kid scanned the passage, meeting with a particular confusion. On one hand, she couldn't understand what any of it meant. On the other hand, part of her deep inside felt like it did. Note read, I can feel the overtake approaching, but for the evening, my senses have returned to me. I should be so blessed as to have this moment, that I might confess mine own distrust, before this vexing curse takes me whole. I thought myself to be the whole of it. When we three were one, that the call of judgment to infatuate and subjugate the errant sword arm was mine and mine alone. Is this a crone, maiden and mother situation? But I sit here, festering, silvering, accepting death as it may come to be, and I realize the burden lay not in my heart. I am as much beast as him. Trapped in her cage, a slave not only to this curse, but to myself. Find purchase, my daughter, in knowing you are not calved from a monster, but simply a fool. Regal four-poster bed. Conspicuously well-preserved wedge of cheese. Admittedly, the kid was forced to do a double take. There on the nightstand, kept in perfect condition under a heavy glass lid, was a spectacular wedge of cheese. Perhaps she thought the man said belonged to a tyromancer. Or a bored hobbyist. Regardless, the kid took the cheese, because quite frankly, she couldn't think of a reason not to. I mean, could you? No, I guess I couldn't. Exactly, I don't think there's a person alive who could resist free, perfectly aged cheese like that. Anyway, the kid took it in their grubby little fingers and kept it safely on their person. It is well known cheese is supposed to be aged, therefore this cheese must have simply been the best. An armor stand in the corner. A mannequin in the corner of the room sported a peculiar attire. Armor, though ceremonial, as if meant to slip over regular clothing. A fold made of mirrored plates matched an oversized necklace of similar styling, while a set of gauntlets completed the fashion. As the kid donned the armor, they could feel a warding effect, create a paling around them. On some level, despite the ornamental nature of it, they felt more protected than before. Check out the bed. A majestic four-poster bed took up prominent space within the bedroom. When the kids searched it, however, they found a magnificent longsword hidden beneath the covers. Age had certainly gripped the blade, but it could still swing at least once. Lady's longsword. The icon on the hilt resembled an eye held tightly shut. Go to the library's mezzanine. Library's mezzanine felt decadent to the kid. Immaculate carvings made up the banister, and intricate candelabras effused a sanguine light between the stunted shelves. A magnificent window at the far end of the room was covered by blood-red curtains, trailing far below the ground floor. A fall from there would have caused grave injury to the kid. The kid perused the shelves, finding a number of tomes that struck her fancy. Book 1. The first book the kid set aside lamented the journey of a lone knight's spirit, one who, even after death, continued to stand guard beside a frozen queen, who was the only one to have claimed his heart. The second book the kid set aside poured over fantastic detail about how best to host a dinner party when one's guests are beings from upper and outer planes of existence. As it turned out, the key to was an excessive stockpile of horseradish and a can-do attitude. The third book the kid set aside laid out the steps to reforging the might and magic of a Lorn sword. That was, a blade in which the power had been lost when the one who remembered it passed on. The restorative ritual relied on several key items. An effigy of the faith once belonging to the weapon, a knife with the power of rebirth to draw and drip the new faithful's blood upon the effigy, and the weapon in question itself. There was, however, a catch. The ritual can only be done atop an altar of the weapon's faith. To exhume a faith as such, without first taking the steps needed to show one's respect, was tantamount to blasphemy. Sounds like that's like how to fix the sword. Into the bedroom. Head to the hallway. Travel to the foyer. Travel to the kitchen, or yeah, the dining hall. We'll go to the kitchen. Travel to the pantry. Give the cheese to the rat. A large rotund rat sat in the corner of the pantry, watching the kid. Hey, is that some cheddar? How's about you hand over the scratch? Alright. Now, here's a piece of advice for you. Get out of town before the clock strikes 12, capiche? After that, it's bad times in the biz. Don't get too enamored by that clock in the foyer. Before you know it, hours will pass by. Before the kid could say anything, the rat scurried off. What a pal. Travel to the dining hall. Travel to the foyer. Wait, crap. I messed up. Go to the foyer. Examine this suspicious corner. Plainly speaking, epic low, before standing back to watch the wall recede and the room behind become exposed. Go through the secret passage. Behind the hidden passageway, the kid wandered through a brief, dark passageway before emerging in an intimate stone chapel ending in an occult altar. A statue depicting the lady of the house stood in the corner of on a dais, and pews lined the length of the nave. Examine. Immaculate pews. A set of 6 hardwood pews that lined the way to the altar. Each looked immaculate and unblemished, save for one near the front. A singular seat had long been worn away. Examine aged statue. The kid marveled at a 10-foot-high statue upon a raised dais depicting the lady of the house. Legends say that the statue wore a ceremonial set of armor, and branded a longsword in her left hand, a magnificent kris in the other. And despite being made of naught but stone, it is said that the eyes glittered, as though gems forever caught in the glint of starlight. The perturbing altar. The kid, utilizing the information gleaned from the book, readied the items for the altar, setting the discarded fey atop the stone baby. The kid gripped their knife and cut deep into her thumb, watching as buds took hold atop the talisman in a small circle. Finally, the kid took the sword and plunged it hard into the sacrament. The babe underneath shattered. The blade tip never pierced through the talisman. As the kid pulled the sword back out, however, she could feel the strength pulsate from the babe, and noticed the eye on the hilt open. It felt like staring in a reflection. Guarded Fey, Lady's Longsword. Galderay's Grudge Blade. Oh god. Turn to the foyer. I guess that's it. I have the sword. Can I find dining hall, go upstairs, go through secret passage, cancel. I guess you just wait for the grandfather clock. Wait. Yeah, use the clock. Examine grandfather clock. Wait until midnight. Skip to end. In the foyer, the kid felt a horrid chill in the air. Suddenly, she came face to face with the shade of the man's matron. Though a formidable opponent, it was nothing more than the poor witch's memories made manifest. There was no time to think. The shade saw the kid as an intruder, and intended to make the consequences known. But the kid had no intention of going down without a fight. The kid danced around, desperately trying to avoid cutting themselves up too bad on the broken chandelier. The kid thought briefly about what to use against the shade, pulling out her swanky cane, her budding knife, the Galdray's Grudge Blade. The kid swung the legendary blade at the shade. The agony sent out by the beast was a symphony. It certainly felt that attack. Its eyes catching the ridiculous rearrangement of the welcome sign, the shade stood for a moment in confusion. The kid wasn't about to let the opportunity pass her by. The kid thought briefly about what to use against the shade, pulling out the Grudge Blade. The shade initiated its share of the combat by reaching high and striking down with an incredible claw attack. The passion of the fight had been ignited. The dance was afoot! The kid danced around, desperately trying to avoid cutting themselves up too bad on the broken chandelier. We got this! The shade hissed, whipping a miserable claw at the kid, connecting somewhat. There was no other path left to the kid, only fate could scry the outcome. The shade shrieked and moaned as the magic comprising it flittered away. All that was left in the mess of glittering shrapnel was the kid. The kid and a bounty of unanswered questions. The only thing left as a clue for her was a small precious stone fragment left behind by the shade. And as the kid scooped it in her palm, the fragment warmed and glittered a bright green before fading at length into slumber. Regardless, the kid understood it was only the beginning of her journey. And such was the kid forced to come to terms with many a disquieting thought upon that return trip home. Dozens of woes, a litany of sorrows, but only one truth that struck her. Perhaps those who rallied against her, in fact, did so with cause. The kid would return victorious indeed, but some believe her to have gone on further to do many a great deed. Alas, that is all for now. Time has slipped away from us, it seems. You'd best hurry on home now before the dark settles. Crone leans in, uncomfortably close. You wouldn't want to run into the Violet Witch now, would you? He asks with a cackle. Taking her advice, you return home, head filled with thoughts of the kid. While foraging one day, you discover a dilapidated outhouse in the middle of the forest. You wonder what it's doing out here. After all, the surrounding area is all land that has clearly been abandoned for some time. Back to the facility. An outhouse, you posit, or perhaps a sacred and disguised altar. It only makes sense that for there to be some sort of magical connotation to an otherwise abandoned outhouse in the middle of the woods, right? Surely that must be the case, and so studying your anticipation, you open the outhouse door. Wow! Amazing! It's really not well kept. Funny, you expected something, well, magical, like maybe if the thing was bigger on the inside or... Wait, hold on a minute. There appears to be treasure, magical treasure, inside the pit latrine, and the convenient pouch of holding right next to the seat. It's a night soil receptacle, what did you expect? Amazing, you're now the lucky owner of a pouch of magical night soil. Giddy with excitement, you make your way back home, curious as to the properties of your newfound agent. One day, in need of supplies, you head to the local apothecary. Hold on. Magical night soil. No, not actually magical. Just some normal night soil. Perfectly coiled. I am a mushroom. It's always wonderfully cozy experience inside. You have a particular fondness for a painting hung near... Oh, this is... Wizard hat. You are a mushroom. This is... Run back home as quickly. Perfectly coiled. Tell the man off. You're not just some component after all. You angrily turn on your heel and yell at him, I am a person, you know. You can see him visibly pale, taking a handkerchief out of his pocket and wiping the sweat from his brow as he chokes out an apology. My robustness is up. Leave your home in the later hours of the morning one day, only to set upon a strange woman not too far from your front door. It's immediately apparent that she doesn't notice you. Heck, you may not even notice the house that's just right there. As it stands, the slender, bespectacled woman has her gaze locked to the sky. She'd be a statue if not for a periodic wave of the hand, setting errant strands of silver back into a messy ponytail. Watching her for a moment, you stand to reason that maybe something's wrong. Plus, she looks harmless enough. Maybe she's worth approaching. Can I help you? The woman whirls around, caught off guard by your sudden appearance. Oh, I'm sorry, she stammers. We're catching a good look at you. Oh. My, you're an interesting creature, aren't you? Her inquisition borders heavily on the familiar, but you let it slip. Are you by chance the mycelial maiden of these woods? I've heard so much about you. It's such a shame I'm pursuing other interests right now. I would love so much to study you. Sorry, is that weird? That's weird, right? The woman pushes back a series of gray hairs, smiling sweetly through thin lips and eyes that glitter like velvet gems. It's almost enthralling. Ah, right then. I should introduce myself. My name's Celia. I am, I suppose, what you'd call a scholar of sorts. I study all sorts of creatures, both mythical and speculative, ranging from all sorts of quasi-humanoid beings to amorphous energies. My primary field of study is in the realm of the Fae. Tricky little friends, I tell you what. Lately, I've been trying to uncover traces of this cheeky bugger, a Fae prince with the name of Cupid. I don't suppose you've seen a foul-mouthed baby flying around shooting at people, have you? Is that a riddle? What do you think the answer to that is? Hold on. Which one leads to wife? I don't want to mess this up. Oh, wait, I can save. Can't I? Yes, I can save. The fuck you think? Is that a riddle? Julia put a finger to her chin. I suppose it sounds odd, huh? Still, there is that little gremlin around here somewhere. Her sources have provided me with good intel, I assure you. Okay, but why bother studying him if you can't find him? I guess I can let you know if I see anything. Oh, that would be wonderful. It definitely seems to be a lost cause looking for him here anyway. Tell you what, Celia hands you a small handbell made of lightly glowing bone. Take this and ring it if you find him. Of course, if you find anything else of interest, I would be thrilled to be notified. Holding the bell, you give it a light jiggle. To your surprise, it rings out spectacularly. And you know, Celia leans in close, if ever you'd like a little studying of your own, well... Celia's face begins to turn red as she looks away, hand on cheek and stifling a giggle. Ah, nothing. Don't be a stranger now. With a... Was that a flirtatious smile? With a grin, she saunters away, left feeling a myriad of emotions. Though a single question remains. You're not going to, like, get shot by a baby just walking about, right? Fall has arrived. Taking a stroll down the center of town, you catch the eye of a curious group of children. Wait, can I use the bell? Like, right now? Summon Celia the Scholar. What's this? Rusty knife. You've had it since you were a child, and it has always performed perfectly. Taking a stroll around the center of town, you catch the eye of a curious group of children. One of them lifts a finger to point at you and shouts, "Look! A big mushy!" That's pretty rude by all means. What do you want to do about this? How rude! Point and shout right back at them. Go over and see if they would like to play. Ignore the children and just keep walking. Let's go play with the kids. Since you aren't that busy, and you wish to learn more about human children anyway, you turn to face the group and ask if you can play with them. The kids let you join in, and you learn of several new exciting games, things like tag, hide and seek, and a particularly fascinating one named stick throw. A nearby parent approaches you, thanking you for keeping the children occupied while they shopped. You head home a bit later, saying bye to your new little friends. Aww. Sorta reputable. You have been a good person. You are awoken in the middle of the night by a loud crash from your kitchen. You scramble to investigate and finally catch the source of the racket. A man oh, it's this one.
It's gay all year round, son!
Happy Pride, Star. Excuse his rudeness. With a sigh, you help the man to a more comfortable seating situation. Oop. I lost potency, but I gained robustness and humanity. While sitting outside near your garden and taking in the fresh air, you hear the caw of a crow, then another, and another. You look up to find a rather large group of sleek black birds perched in the trees above you. A few are eyeing your garden, while others are just birding around as birds are wont to do. Feed the crows some spare scraps, scare them off, just watch them for a bit. Let's give them some scraps. Wait. I can put coins on this! Hold on. How many coins do I have? I have a note card, 1 wealth, and however many spores. Feed the crows some spare scraps. Yay! Pass! You head to your kitchen, scrounging up some nuts and bits of old bread before returning to the murder outside. Tossing the morsels to the ground, you step back to give the birds some space. A few of the braver ones eventually swoop down and start to peck at the scattered bits of food, others still watching from on high. You sit back down, spending a relaxing afternoon watching them. Yay, I gained humanity. Friend of birds! I'm a friend of birds. Yeah, friend of bird. You've been kind to birds. They always remember that. Over the past few days, you've developed a growing sense of unease. And one particularly gloomy evening, the feeling intensifies. You are in the dying days of autumn, and a chill in the air bites at your skin. As you look out into the nearby woods, you can feel a strange calling, an invisible force pulling you towards something. It's you are being summoned. Before you decide if it's a good idea to follow, your body has already made the choice for you. You find yourself uncontrollably walking into the woods. Sometime later, you find yourself in a dark and unfamiliar grove. You are relieved to see your summoner, none other than the Witch of the Woods. However, your relief is short-lived when you see the cold and serious look on her face as you approach. My daughter, the time has come. Though it was not yours, there is still a debt left unsettled, and I always find a way to collect payment. Seems she really does intend to make you pay for your parents' debt. After such a long time, you can't imagine what she would require of you. It certainly won't be easy. Take care of a dangerous and unsavory matter. Fight the witch! I'm gonna ask her for a reprieve. Give an impassioned plea to the witch to cancel the debt. Reasoning that you can't be held responsible for someone else's debt, she considers thoughtfully, clearly surprised by your reasoning. Perhaps the terms could be renegotiated after all, she says, with uncharacteristic consideration. Unexpectedly, you learn the witch worked out a reasonable payment plan with your parent. It honestly makes you wonder why they didn't do this in the first place. You're wandering the suburbs of the village one day when you notice an unusual sight. Before you is a collection of 5 or 6 young humans, crowded together in a circle. When you walk closer, you can more clearly hear the words they seem to be shouting at each other. Damn it! One of them cries out. I should have went to scroll. You should always go scroll against you. Scrolls. Are these people scholars? When you take a closer look, you can see the group reset. 2 new humans go to the center of the circle, holding one fist out each. The rest of the group takes an anticipatory position, looking on in tense excitement. This is it! If you win this, you'll win the whole pot! One of the onlookers was speaking closely to one competitor. How intriguing. A pot? A prized pot? You only have a boring old regular pot. A prized pot would be quite the upgrade. In fact, you can see it from here, an ornate box near the edge of the group. You want the pot. How do you try to get it? This can't be legal. Report them to the authorities. Join the competition. You're not sure if it's too late to join, but you figure it's getting later every passing second. Without another moment of delay, you run forward and implore them to let you join this mysterious ceremony. The humans share looks with each other, then words. Do we have to? I just want to win this thing and get it over with. Of course, you'd say that, Jeremy. I think a random mushroom lady showing up is a good curveball myself. What if she wins?
I want
Prize. Oh, whatever. She can have it. It's not that good anyway. Finally, they seem to reach a conclusion. Yeah, you can play. One of them finally tells you. You know the rules of stone scroll shears, right? Unfortunately, you're forced to tell them that you do not know the rules they speak of. Thankfully, they are quick teachers. They tell you that a countdown is performed, and at the end of the countdown, you must perform a hand sign for either stone, scroll, or shears. Stone can defeat shears, scroll can defeat stone, and shears can defeat scroll. This all seems a little strange to you. This is a sort of game that you have not encountered before. It requires strange symbolic thinking, but it does seem to be a game of luck at least. With the rules now in your grasp, you watch the final round. Perhaps this will teach you the necessary strategy if there is one. The 2 final human competitors ready for their battle. 3! The audience begins to shout, the players whipping their fists back and forth in front of them in time. 2! On the last second, a glance of intensity is shared by both competitors. 1! The 2 throw their selection in front of them. One with the symbol you have been told means shears, and the other, stone! The absolute madman went stone! The crowd cheers and whoops excitedly. One of the players, the disgraced loser, mournfully re-enters the crowd. The winner, on the other hand, looks to you. Alright, stranger, let's see what you got. You're pushed to the middle of the circle with barely a second of pause. The crowd starts shouting. 3! Oh no, what to do? 2! You have to think quick. 1! Here's stone scrolls. Kick them and take the chest and run! Cheers! Without thought, you look down and see that your hand has selected the outcome for you. The crowd is silent as they gauge the situation, determining the winner. Finally, after a second of shock, both you and the crowd realize the result. Scrolls. Their hand. Scrolls. Oh no, that's bad, isn't it? The crowd is silent in disappointment. Next time, we're gonna recruit a Stone Scroll Shears champion to come kick your ass, Jeremy. One of the teens states plainly. It seems you were not the champion they were hoping for. Hold on. Here's. Present their hand. Stone. You always lose? You be Poppy incarnate and you're not taking it. Finally, after a second of shock, both of you and the crowd realize the result. You won! The crowd is whipped into a frenzy. Oh my god, Jeremy, you lost to a mushroom! The audience seems to enjoy this outcome, taunting the winner happily. You are thankful that this appears to be the best ending possible for most participants, and thankful that you now get to receive this incredible pot they were all gathered for. Not being able to wait, you excitedly ask about the prize. Oh, right, obviously. One of the youths kneels down near the chest, opening it. Where's the pot? Inside the chest, you find only a collection of human snacks. No pots at all. You question a nearby human, but they can only tell you that this was the prize they were competing for all along. Ah, well, it's no amazing pot. But you suppose you'll accept a bounty of treats as well. You begin shoving them into your bag as the teens make small talk with you. Finally, you've gathered it all. You stand and bid them farewell, thanking them for letting you play their game. No problem. A mysterious last-minute competitor is always a good time, one of them tells you. The group cheers your exit. On your way home, you casually take a cookie from your bag and start eating it. Victory is sweet, after all. Yay, I gained humanity. The sun is low in the sky, casting a beautiful warm tint across everything that you see. Today, it was a particularly beautiful sight, blossomy fruit trees and the wind blowing through grass. Your eyes feel heavy, and suddenly you find yourself falling into a deep sleep. In your dreams, you're sitting on a tree branch. There's a flute playing somewhere. It's this one! Touches a vague shape of a woman. Try to memorize this place. I can remember it vividly. Yes! I got it! There's a knock on your door. When you go to answer it, you see a man dressed in an elegant black suit. Are you the fungal woman of the woods? He asks. Okay, I've read this one before. I can nope here, but I'll attend and simply be myself. You figure, why not? Your way to the party. This is all the same, it looks like. Oh, over the course of the evening... Hold on. Wait, what? You arrive, you see dozens of people dressed in monocles in the street. Part of the food. Please fight a drink. The host, thank you for your invitation. Oh, cool. Over the course of the evening, she introduces you to everyone around the table. They all seem charmed by you, even if most of them are a little monastic. By the end of the party, you've met a variety of humans that you doubt you'll remember the name of. You had fun doing it. They'll certainly remember you. I have high mycelium now. Reputable. As you grow older, you look back over your life. You think back to the witch who created you, and can't help but wonder if everything had met your expectations. You wonder if you were the daughter your parent had hoped for. Dang it! I didn't get to call Celia or try to go to the gala with the mysterious dream woman. Consistently been a good person, friend of Bird, young adult. Because the witch summoned you, it skipped the choice to select a goal. Ah, dang it! I knew there was a downside to that. I'm just gonna note this. Find yourself remember. Sometimes when you lay down to go to sleep, you find yourself remembering a dream you had. Ooh. In fact, so much so that you would like to see her again. You know she's not real, but there's something fun about that, you suppose. An imaginary friend that you visit like a real one. One day, you make your way back to the same spot you first met her at, the meadow with the flowering tree. In your hands, you grasp a flower, a polite request for company. You're not sure if it will help, but it's the only thing you can think to do. Then, finally, you just have to fall asleep, in time and easy. As you wait peacefully, you hear a sound you recognize. I'm impressed. Most people don't think about me twice. Sit with her for a few moments. Are you real? You've always been like this. Go somewhere else. What a strange question. Of course not. But there are some places where things are a little blurry. Magic, mainly. I find it's better not to question it, in case. Decide to follow her advice. The rest of your dreams are pleasant. I suppose not. There was a time before this. I had lost something important to me, and I came here to get it back. I didn't mean for it to consume me like it did, I suppose. I just got a little greedy is all. My advice is to not be greedy. What you want is never quite as good as it seems. But there's no reason to dwell on that. Let's just enjoy the view. Right, last one. Go somewhere else. I don't see why not. Was it somewhere you had in mind? Explain to the woman that you mean somewhere far away, the waking world. Oh, I can go there in some ways, like a simulacrum. But why would I want to go to the real thing anyway? I'm already here. You're here with me too. Decide to appreciate the view. Partially what you came here for anyway. So she can become real. Well, dang it. Garrick. Maybe, like, you have to do that to... Wait. Daughter's grown. Mycelia, Bean, and Luna. Well, that's about all I have time for tonight. Unfortunately, so... Let's switch on over to the chatting screen. But yeah, everything I saw about this game implies so much more. It does, doesn't it? Like, there's that whole meta progression thing. I'm... Honestly, as soon as this comes out, I'm probably gonna... Happy Pride Star. I don't know if it'll be a day one thing, but I definitely feel like I'm gonna revisit this as a full series at some point. In fact, I'm gonna throw it on the 2 playlist right now. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Play mushroom. The only... Okay, so that was the last vetted demo I had. Thankfully, I will not be having a demo day next week because I have some family things going on Sunday, but I guess that gives us more time to find a new one. I did find a really interesting looking one that I want to try, called Research Story. I'll probably be doing that unless somebody else vets something else, but anyway. I suppose I should probably find somebody to go raid, shouldn't I? Hold on. Is online. Have to get vetting, I guess. Yeah, thank you all so much for all your work on that, by the way. Like, I have been thinking of something I could do to pay you all back, and I'll have to let you know later. Anyway, we take a look at who's online. We got Doodles. Pika sprays on. Holy crap! There's no one else playing Mushroom Musume, is there? There is. I'm gonna. Nope. Got Zerain, Saint Belistrad. Oh, Sunai. Ruby's on. I can raid Ruby back. Aw, thank you, Petite. Oh, Hero Laha's on. Wait, wrong lesbiab. Oh, this is always such a difficult decision. Raiding Ruby back in the same day would be so funny, though. Let me check out a couple of the tired rat man. Germa is on too. Holy crap. Cozy stream. Thank you for being here, Star. It's always so difficult to decide. um. Alright, alright, alright. Well, first of all, let me get my other endings stuff out of the way real quick. Here is the link to my Discord if you want to go vote in polls to tell me what to do. You can apply to be a demo detective and vet demos for me. You can you can post cat pictures and look at memes and all that fun stuff. It's a good time. Other than that, let me get a raid message written up. I'm so tempted to raid Ruby back. It would be so funny, but here's the raid message. Get that ready to go. Once we get over in the chat, get ready to spam that. If you have access to the emotes, if you don't, just use whatever you got on hand. It'll be fine. There's no rules. It's all for fun. It would be really funny. But there's also like Tired Ratman looks like a good one. You know what? We're just gonna raid Ruby. Raiding doesn't usually get many followers anyway, so let's go for the funny. We're gonna raid Ruby. I'm sure most of you know who Ruby is, but she is absolutely killing this whole streaming thing. Check that in a second. But thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. It always means the absolute world to me, and I know I say that a lot, but I mean it every single time. And get him in a second. Oh, hi, Bastet. But yeah, giving us a place to hang out. Aw, thank you, Star. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. Really does mean the world to me, and I'll be back probably Tuesday. I usually am. I'll get my schedule posted tomorrow. That's what I've been doing recently. Other than that, I'll see you all next time, and y'all take care of yourselves. Have a great week and a great rest of your night and all that stuff. Sleep well and all that jazz. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.